Trial version. 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 Trial version.
Working now? Working now? We good? We good? Should be good now. Should be good. This is what happens when I got like two different computers going on. So I got a computer over here that's handling the stream. I got my chat here. My camera set up here. Desk here so I could have the good camera. However, hold on. I'm going to back the camera up a little bit. I feel like I'm just too close. I'm just too close. Let's fix that. Let's fix the camera. Let's not have things be that crazy. All right. Come on, camera. Focus. There we go. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I feel that's a little bit better of an angle. Let me say hi to everyone in the chat. We got Raptors here, Churros, Corey D, Justin Kwame, Brian C, Logan LeBlanc, Sagan the Future Fan, the Jakinator, Marcus Herrera, Big Brother W, Evan One Sonic, Cynthia Izzles, Mike F, R, Chris Lee, PDS, Liam, let's see here, Marcos Herrera, My Little Mortys, Koopa Slayer is here as well, Evan One Sonic, Joseph Burton, let's see here. I don't know if I missed anyone. Corey Bowman there. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. Here we are, folks. You are in the square. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the autofocus thing. It's supposed to go away, but it's not. I don't know what's going on. It's not supposed to be there anymore. Let me go check a setting on the camera quick. Sometimes settings on the camera are just screwy. Let's see here. Menu. All right, square should be gone. The square on my face should be gone for you guys. As you guys see me messing with the camera settings. All right, the square should be gone. It's still going to show for me, but it shouldn't show for you guys. It looks like the square is gone. All right. Yeah, see, this is just a little bit of a different setup. I haven't done this setup in a while. I'm basically using one of our podcast desks, having the camera point back at my old background right here. I actually might set this up to do videos more often, so I can also do videos with the computer in the background, videos here, and then move the desk for podcast reasons later. All right, so how you guys doing? I also don't have any lights on me right now, so like it's legitimately just looks orange in my office, so I know I look orange. It is what it is. My white light's actually over here. Eric broke all my other lights. That's right, Eric. You bastard. Co-host of the Nintendo Prime Podcast, my best friend for 25 years. You motherfucker. You broke my goddamn lights. And I tried to go buy a new light bulb. The light bulbs are $120 each. You bastard. You bastard. It's all right. I do need to get some new lights up in here. I need some LED ones that can't be broken that way. But all right, let's talk about what a couple of the topics here. First one is MissClick. MissClick Gaming. You guys might know who she is. She is a full-time Twitch streamer. She also has a YouTube channel. She was on an episode of the podcast 2 episodes ago, I think, or maybe it was 3. I can't remember. It was about 3 weeks ago. She is awesome. I've really enjoyed my time talking to her. I've enjoyed conversations we've had behind the scenes. I've been on some of her streams. I've donated to her. I support her fully. She is just really passionate about gaming. I like some of her hot takes on certain things, which some people might not like. And also, yeah, her YouTube channel. So this is actually about what YouTube told her. So her YouTube channel is mostly just like edits she does of clips she takes off of Twitch. Every now and then she'll do some different things. But for the most part, it's just edits of clips from her live streams. Okay. Some of them funny edits. Some of them, like little quicks, like NPC energy, 24 seconds. Clumsy streamer is clumsy. MissClick Gaming short, 11 seconds long. But some of them are longer, 45 minutes, 33 minutes. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she gets a lot of her reactions up as well to different games and different trailers. So she kind of has a reaction vibe to her channel, but also obviously a lot of stream highlights. So basically unboxings, live reactions, and stream highlights. That's what she does on her YouTube channel. There's a bunch of YouTube channels like that. But yeah, she's got 100K subscribers. And so YouTube has a play button available at 100,000 subscribers. It's a play button I hope to have one day. Not because I need it to validate my channel, but it is nice to you come down in the studio or in the office, in her case, and you take a look at the wall and you just see that plaque, that 100,000 plaque. It's kind of a, hey, look, ma, I made it. Yes, I just did a song reference there. Hey, look, ma, I made it. It's kind of like a, look, I'm successful at what I do, and the company that is the back end of what I do, part of the back end of what I do, is recognizing me for being successful. So she applied, obviously, for her 100,000 YouTube plaque because she's at 100,000 subscribers. Now, I might have waited a little bit, maybe till you're at like 100,000 and 101,000 or something like that to solidify that you're not going to drop below 100,000. But technically, that's not the requirements. You just need to be at 100,000 subs. There is no other real requirements except for your channel to be in good standing, and her channel is in good standing. So she applied for her 100,000 subs, and she put it out on Twitter, which I don't have set up to show you guys, so I'm just going to read it off. You guys can go check her out at _MissClick_ is her username on Twitter. And she said, hey, YouTube said I'm not going to get my 100K plaque. The reason is that her content isn't original enough. Keep in mind, these are her reactions, her stream highlights, her opinions, her unboxings. Apparently, she's not original enough. But all the other reaction channels, all the other stream highlight channels, all the other unboxing channels, they're apparently original and they can get plaques. But MissClick can't. Keep in mind that originality is actually not one of the requirements to get a plaque. So YouTube responded to her and basically said, hey, you're not going to get it. Now, might she get it at 120,000 subs, 140? Might YouTube change their mind eventually? Of course, YouTube could change their mind. She could probably reapply down the line. But bottom line is YouTube rejected her on the basis her channel is not original enough. That's bullshit. That also means I'm not getting one, right? When I get to 100,000 subscribers, YouTube ain't sending me shit. If I ever get to 100,000. I guess I shouldn't presume that. We got to get to 70,000 first, which, by the way, if we get to 70,000 subscribers, I am going to be giving away a Nintendo Switch. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, we have a giveaway going on right now that you can enter down in the description. That giveaway ends like tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day you can enter. So anyways, I feel bad for MissClick. Not just because she's a good, genuinely good person. And I can't wait to have her as a guest on the podcast again. I think that as long as the account is in good standing and the person hasn't done anything to offend YouTube, there's certain YouTubers out there, because there's a lot of controversy going on today because, Steven Crowder, as an example, got banned today. Not going to talk too much about that unless you guys want to talk about it. But like, there's been controversy like that, and in that case, I don't expect YouTube to give him many plaques, although he's at like 5 million plus subscribers, so a little beyond YouTube's typical plaques anyways. But I do think that it's kind of a misnomer to not give MissClick who I think deserves it, her 100K plaque. She clearly doesn't have to upload to YouTube, okay? She's a full-time streamer. A majority of the revenue she makes is going to be from live streams. She doesn't make a ton of revenue on YouTube. I mean, I'm looking at her videos, 10,000. She has 39,000 on one from a month ago. She doesn't even upload that often, maybe a few times a month. 16K before that, 11K before that, 8K before that, 12. Like, she's not getting tons and tons of views on her videos, and I know how much she's making on average for like that. What is it? A month ago, that 39K video, she probably made like $40, right? That 10K video, she probably made $18. Like, she's not making a ton of money anyways. So YouTube isn't like this place that she's making a ton of money on. YouTube is more so, hey, let me spread out on as many platforms as I can. Something ever happens on Twitch and she decides to leave Twitch, she can go to her subscriber base on YouTube. Heck, we just saw Ninja, not too long ago, much bigger streamer, of course. He left to go to Mixer, got signed by Mixer to a contract. Mixer shut down, and he was kind of in limbo for a bit because he really wasn't on good terms with Twitch at the time because, hey, he left Twitch to go to Mixer, which led to Twitch deciding to shell out money on other streamers like Dr. Disrespect that they later tried to get out of that contract, and I don't want to get too much into that either. It's a whole other controversy. But then he started streaming on YouTube for a bit, and he saw actually bigger numbers on YouTube than he saw on any other streaming platform. So if all he really cared about was, let me reach the most amount of people, he would have just stayed on YouTube because he was doing insane numbers on YouTube because he's got 24 plus million subscribers on YouTube. But yeah, he went back to Twitch. Obviously, Twitch re-signed him, got him on a deal that he found to be, worth potential revenue and viewership loss that he would have on YouTube, and that's where he's at. So the point here is that I don't think there's anything wrong with what MissClick does. She's a full-time streamer. She has 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. She uploads a handful of times a month. Let her have her damn YouTube plaque. Like, you're not doing a good job of convincing MissClick to put more content out on YouTube by telling her, hey, we basically don't welcome you here. You are not original enough. You are not welcome on YouTube. We are not going to recognize you. We're not going to ban your channel. We're not going to demonetize your channel. But we are also not going to recognize your own personal achievement on our platform like we do for any other content creator on YouTube, including other channels that just put up podcast highlights. There's entire channels like the H3 podcast is like a podcast highlights channel. That channel gets a plaque. What's original about that channel? It's just posting clips from the H3 podcast. What the hell is original about it? Nothing. But it gets a plaque. So why can't MissClick get a... Like there's entire channels out there that literally are not even ran by Twitch streamers that just post highlights of other Twitch streamers' streams, and they get a plaque. They get plaques, and they're not even the content creator on Twitch. They're just a random person like you or me watching a Twitch streamer, clipping something, and then uploading it to YouTube. And they get plaques for content they didn't even create. But MissClick can't. It's bullshit. Now, I'm going to start reading the chat. I want to see what you guys think about this. I think it's stupid. I think it's one of the stupidest decisions YouTube has made in quite some time for an honest-to-goodness creator. Like, there's a lot of dumb decisions that sometimes happen by YouTube. We went through our own YouTube controversy last year. YouTube, you still owe me $4,000. Thanks, by the way. You fucked my channel. But that's besides the point. You, like, literally fucked me over my channel. Not just revenue-wise. You literally killed the growth of my channel. And that's fine. YouTube's going to do what they do. Google's going to do what they do. They own this shit. They have their own rules, their own systems. They're going to do what they do. I just think MissClick hasn't had controversy. She's not a controversial live streamer. She's not a controversial YouTube content creator. I don't understand it. For other people like me, where maybe I've said some things that maybe YouTube doesn't like, I get it, but she hasn't. YouTube probably doesn't even like that I'm doing this damn live stream talking about it. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's Merlin Starhugs, who is timed out. Let's not attack people. I want to make this very clear. Very clear. I disavow any attacking of any other person, whether it's in this case, the person was attacking Susan Wojcicki, who's like CEO or whatever she is. I think she's CEO of YouTube. Let's not attack other people. Okay, got to remember a lot of this stuff is handled by bots. Her denial of a plaque. You think Susan was the one who denied her that plaque? No, it's some low-level underling YouTube employee who did it, who did the review process and said nope. So I just want to be clear here that I don't attack other people. Like, even when I bring up things that I don't like about other content creators time to time, it doesn't mean I want you guys to go, pick up the pitchforks and attack them. Don't message them on Twitter. Don't go to their comment section. Don't start dislike bombing their videos. Like, that stuff is dumb. It doesn't accomplish anything, okay? It doesn't accomplish anything. It actually just leads to more stress for me, because you guys doing that leads to the, other people coming at me, and I don't need YouTube's, nasty eye turning back towards my channel and basically making it so you guys don't get notified of any of my live streams or any of my videos again. Things are starting to do okay at the channel again. I don't need YouTube deciding, hey, he's talking out against YouTube. Let's start, cussing out the CEO of YouTube and make YouTube get really mad at me just because I called out the fact that, hey, you know what? She should have her damn plaque. Now, granted, it takes a while to get the plaque. It's not like she's going to have it tomorrow, even if they did approve her, but still. $4,000, a lot of cheddar, man. It's a lot of cheddar YouTube effed me out of. But yeah, MissClick is great. Like, I don't know. What do you guys see here? Evan One-Sonic says sexual content, not enough videos, just stream uploads, no live streams on YouTube. What's the real reason? Yeah, as I said, they said the reason that she was denied is because her content's not original enough. I've never heard that reason used, ever. Most people are not making original content. At least, kind of content no one else is making. Example, Player Essence is probably going to get to 100,000 subscribers at some point. Is he going to get denied because he's just making video games news content and opinion content? Like thousands of other content creators, like I do. Like Spawnwave does. Like, is he not going to get a plaque? Not everyone's going to be like Beat 'em Ups. Beat 'em Ups obviously has a very unique way in which he does things. Obviously, you have like Zach the Waz has a very different way he does things, but not everyone's going to be that original. Some people just literally enjoy giving their takes on news and reviewing games. Like, that's what they enjoy doing. That is what IGN, GameSpot, Game Informer, all the traditional media sites do as well. They're not going to get blacklisted. They're going to get their plaques. What the hell are they doing that's original? Except just copying what content creators were doing on YouTube before those channels decided to come over to YouTube. I mean, I'd like to think my podcast is fairly original, but how many gaming podcasts are there? There's a lot of video game podcasts out there. I like to think mine's original, but it's still just another video game podcast. I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think the real reason, if you want to know my opinion on this, the real reason YouTube's denying her the 100,000 plaque is they took a look at her channel because they do manually review all plaques. The person who reviewed her channel noticed, oh, She has a lot of stream highlights from Twitch. Twitch is our enemy. Fuck you, you're not getting a plaque. That's what I think really happened. Was forget you. You aren't getting your plaque because you're a full-time Twitch streamer. Because remember, YouTube does compete directly with Twitch. And I think that's really what's happening here. She's being punished for being a full-time Twitch streamer first, YouTuber second. If she was a YouTuber first, but then also happened to stream on Twitch, like, Beat 'em Ups is a YouTuber first, but also streams on Twitch. Bob Wolf from Wolf Den, he is a YouTuber first, but also streams on Twitch. She wouldn't be punished. But if those guys were just full-time streamers that also uploaded videos on YouTube, would YouTube treat them the same? I don't know. The Basement Band says, MissClick is an amazing person. She gets way more hate than one should ever get. Who's hating on her, by the way? Are there people hating on MissClick? Dude, she is a genuine person. Yeah, she has some hot takes you might not like. Some opinions. That, she doesn't take anyone's shit. Period. But she's a genuinely happy person. More than Nintendo's going to screw people that get a Pro by only experiencing improved games on their latest releases. I wouldn't worry about that. No attacking. Just because you hate someone doesn't mean you need to watch them stuff, much less attack them. I know that, Nate, but what do you think the real reason is? I gave you what I think the real reason is. That explanation sounds more like a front, but I would argue that because MissClick doesn't post content frequently and that the views show slow to a crawl with an upload dry spell, YouTube feels that she does not invest in her channel as much. Look, there's people, Mark Rober uploads about once a month. It shouldn't matter how often you upload. It shouldn't matter what that content is as long as it's not against their policies. All that should matter is that she's active every single month. She's making videos on YouTube every single month. She earned her 100,000 subscribers. Period. Yeah, her videos aren't getting crazy views. Guess what? That's pretty normal. Think about this. She's on 100,000 subscribers. She's got 10, 39, 16, 11, 8.2, 12. Okay, what am I? I'm not like super far, super crazy far behind her. I'm like 66,000, 65,000, 66,000. What are my videos getting? I got 900 on my video so far today. That'll probably be over 1,000 by the end of the day. I have 2.8 yesterday, 970. Getting past the live streams, let's get different kinds of views. 3.8, 4.9, 1.8, 4.1, 1.3, 8.1, 2.3, 2.7, 3. So basically, she's just getting the kind of viewership I would probably get at 100,000 subscribers. It's very normal for a 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel to only get around 10,000 views per video. That's actually fairly normal because of YouTube's algorithm and systems and notifications. And hold that. My son wants something. Hold on. So, hey, thank you, Snowing Meyer, for following. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think it's kind of BS. It's YouTube creating rules that are not publicly, visible. That sucks, and so MissClick's kind of paying the price for it. Let's see here. Beat 'em Ups has a lot of support helping creators. He does now. I don't know if people have followed Beat 'em Ups for before he really blew up. He really blew up like the last 2 years. But if you go like 4 or 5 years back, his channel wasn't that big. And he did a lot of his own work. He did a lot of his own editing. Now he's got an editor. He's got graphic artists. VFX effect people. He's got people. His channel's huge. You can afford to have those people. He's got people that really make he idealizes a lot of it. Like, he comes up with a lot of the storyboards and the concepts for what he's doing, and obviously he has to provide all the footage and all the recordings. But he's obviously got help now. But I mean, duh. Other people do too. There's other people that have editors. Like, it's perfectly normal for a YouTuber over 500,000 subscribers to have a full-time editor that edits all their videos. Like, it's normal. Because at that point, you're probably getting at 500,000 subscribers, you're probably at least getting 50,000 views a video, if not 100,000. And if you're putting out, say 2-3 videos a day, or even just a video a day, you're probably making enough to pay yourself and pay one other person. Let me see. There is a channel that has a plat, and they do Twitch highlights and edit their streams. I mean, that's the thing. There are other people doing what MissClick does. So they could argue, yeah, she's not original enough. But these other places aren't either. So why do they get their dang play buttons and she doesn't? Again, YouTube might change their mind, and upon further review, a reapplication down the line, maybe they'll give it to her. So Nathaniel Austin, I'm going to show that comment, but I don't think her being hot has anything to do with whether or not she should get a plaque and whether or not she deserves success. I don't think how someone looks, like, physically has anything to do with any of that shit. I understand that, yes, obviously, if you are an attractive female and technically an attractive male, you could tend... You tend to have a bit more success a bit more rapidly because people like to look at things they're attracted to. That's just human nature. We all like to look at things we're attracted to. You think about the movies. Some of our favorite actors and actresses, they're always attractive people. Usually, there's some exceptions to that rule, but a lot of them are what most people would consider to be attractive because even if we're not into them, say sexually, we still like to look at something that looks good. When you're hiring models for your stuff, even when you're hiring plus size models, for like certain clothing lines that might have a plus size model, like they're still picking out like the cream of the crop of the plus size models that look good. So that's just how it goes. So I don't, while obviously I think being good looking can help with success, I don't think that's why she's successful and why she deserves a plaque. So I don't think it's too big of a relevant point to bring up. Because of the Switch Pro rumors and the fact that they say any production will begin in July, do you believe the leaker that told you they were already in production? Because of the Switch Pro rumors and the fact that they say production will be... So, so the people who talk to me about that stuff, I have no idea what to believe, to be honest. Obviously, the Switch Pro isn't in mass production at the moment. That doesn't mean some parts for it aren't. As an example, I think they're pretty locked in with what chip they're using. I don't know if they're locked in on what they're going to clock it at, but they're locked in with what chip they're using. They already have orders in for that chip. That chip is already going to be in production right now. That doesn't mean that everything is. The screens might not be in production yet. Certain other parts, the board that gets paired with the chip maybe isn't in mass production yet. So things don't just go into mass production all at the same time. This is pretty normal. Certain parts are mass produced before other parts because you have lines and wait times, and there's companies, eating up all of the semiconductor companies' time right now in their machines. So you really are just getting things done when you can get them done. So I'm sure things like some of the chips are probably already been manufactured, even if they're not, locked in on what they're going to clock certain speeds at and stuff. Anyways, that's all I can say on that. I haven't heard from those people in months. So, let's see here. Who is MissClick? She is a full-time streamer on Twitch and also has a 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel. All right. Do I have a retro collection? I have some retro stuff, but I don't really collect. I wouldn't call myself a collector. All right. Let's get into the other topic. Mario 35's end. It's kind of weird. All right, so we've known for a while that obviously the 35th anniversary of Mario ends tomorrow. It'll be the last day you can officially buy certain things. I've talked about it in the past, so you could still get 3D All-Stars, at least probably for the next month, but it's just copies and digital copies that retailers buy up through tomorrow. It's interesting because Nintendo just keeps reminding people like it. Like today. It's your last chance. They put this out on Twitter. It's your last chance to claim Super Mario Bros. Wave 2 collectible pin set. Check in below and make sure you finished all your My Nintendo missions. Like, it's your last chance. Because after tomorrow, we're not doing any of this anymore. We're just taking away products. Like, you're just constantly beating people over the head that, hey, we're taking shit away from you for no other reason than fear of missing out. It's FOMO. We want you to buy. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, week-over-week sales shot up 287% in the UK. It is now sitting at the number 2 sales spot in the UK. Why? Because, after tomorrow, it's going to be harder to get. Sales are probably going to shoot up in the MPD for it this month because of the fear of missing out. So when we hear the MPD report for North America, I fully expect Super Mario 3D All-Stars to be in the top 5 because, people are buying it because of the fear of missing out. Japan, the sales are starting to rise in Japan. Fear of missing out. Nintendo is taking advantage of consumers by saying we're going to get rid of products that are selling incredibly well. So you better buy them now so we can boost sales now. And we're going to take this away from you. Well, we'll probably give it back to you in 6 months, but we're going to take it away from you right now. So you buy it now. Don't miss out. I always thought, it's an interesting business strategy. And I'm not saying, like, if you own a Switch, you've had plenty of ample time to get 3D All-Stars, to get, to partake in Mario 35. I think Mario 35 ending is maybe the bigger news. You'll be able to get secondhand copies of 3D All-Stars for a while. But what about Mario 35? That's just gone. It doesn't work anymore. And it's such a fun concept. It's almost more fun than Tetris 99. I just don't... Getting rid of it, it's such a cool and fun experience. I would like to see them not get rid of it. I mean, they could always re-release it. Tetris 99 technically has a physical release. They could re-release Mario 35, but I think that's one of the biggest shames is a game's just being deleted. At least Mario 3D All-Stars, it's just 3 retro games that you could still buy for the original systems, and the physical copies are always going to exist. Mario 35 is digital only. They end it. That's it. Mario 35 is done. Now, someone's probably going to ROM hack it, throw it on a PC, and have online matches until Nintendo shuts that down, too. But, I mean, let's just be real. That's obviously not an ideal situation that most of us are going to be partaking in. I skipped 3D All-Star since I already own the OG physical games. Yeah, I got one of the physical games back here. I don't know if you guys can see. Nope, it's probably just off camera. I've got Super Mario 64 back there. I got a card of that. Let's see here. I'm actually happy Mario is being beheaded. Bring in Zelda. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, the one nice thing about the 35th anniversary coming to an end is, hey, Nintendo can move on. We have the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Some stuff already slated for that. Starting really what it feels like we're starting with new Pokemon Snap in April. Oh, wait, does that come out next month? Is that next month? Holy shit. I already forgot the release. I don't have it pre-ordered yet. Holy shit, yeah, that comes out at the end of April. Damn. So, like, we have the 25th anniversary kicking off. We have the 30th anniversary of Zelda, which is basically kicking off with Skyward Sword HD. We just don't know what else they're going to announce. Lots of predictions, lots of rumors, lots of hope. But, we don't know exactly what they're going to announce. We do know Breath of the Wild 2 news is supposedly coming before the end of the year. That's not even rumor and speculation. That's what Eiji Aonuma said to all of us when he announced Skyward Sword HD, that we would likely hear more news about Breath of the Wild 2 later this year. So strap in. But at the same point, I don't think we need to delete games to end the anniversary. I think it's just a cop-out to try to sell as many copies as they can as fast as they can. As if the Switch is in trouble or something. That's the weird thing. It's like, we need to fear of missing out our consumers, so they buy. But, like, they're already buying, like, it's usually fear of missing out the strategy for desperate companies. Nintendo's not desperate. So then again, it does kind of go with that attitude. Furukawa said every year's do or die for us. So like it kind of falls in line with that idea that, hey, if every year is do or die, that means we're always desperate. So I guess I can understand that argument. I suppose it does fit in with that attitude. Then again, I don't play Mario 35 that much anymore. I played a little bit last week. Maybe I'll play it, tomorrow one last time before it's gone. Maybe play it until the servers shut off. Whenever the servers are going to shut off, I have no idea. Midnight? I have no clue what time they're shutting the servers off. Do you think there's someone data mined Monster Hunter Rise they could find some clues about the Switch Pro? Probably not. I would assume not. The game was clearly made ground up for the OG Switch. They might have an update or some things that run better on Switch Pro, but Monster Hunter Rise already runs really good on Switch. I don't foresee them needing to do really anything special there. When you give away Monster Hunter Rise, will it be physical or digital? Probably digital. Monster Hunter Rise is sometimes hard to get physical right now. Most of my game giveaways are digital because then that's the easy way to make it region free. Because Switch is region free, so I can give away the game worldwide because I can't do a digital code that you can redeem. Surely they're shutting the game down because of costs. But here's the thing. Mario 35 is a value add to Switch Online. After tomorrow, Switch Online is less valuable because one of the reasons to subscribe to it over the last, 4 or 5 months is gone. So they are making money off Switch Online. So if you take away a product from Switch Online, are you really worried about the cost of the product when you could potentially lose online subscriptions? People who might have subscribed just to play that game? Please, I just want more info about Breath of the Wild 2. They're opening shelf space. Shelf space on Switch Online that only has one other game besides the... Okay. Let's see. When are you announcing the winner? April 1st. Yes, I know. April 1st is April Fool's Day. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. The winners will be announced with no jokes. I promise. I don't plan to do any jokes on my channel. Maybe if some other YouTubers or some other websites do some clever video game related jokes, maybe we'll cover them. Hey, the best April Fool's pranks today. But I'm not going to be doing any jokes on my channel that day. We'll be announcing the winners. You expected them to calm down? I have giveaways every month, Crispy. I have an idea of what I'm giving away next month. Again, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's anything special, to be honest, but I have a giveaway next month too. Let's see here. Can't find a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for a reasonable price anywhere. Yeah? They haven't done a new print of that in a while. You think we get another Nintendo Direct in April? No. I think they're done till June. I'd like to be wrong, though. I'm welcome to being wrong. I don't think we're getting anything until June. Well, yeah, that was my question. I assume it wasn't profitable, but if it was, then you've answered my question. A similar deal with the anniversary pack. Can't imagine the anniversary pack's not profitable. They sell it at $60 a pop, and it's just emulated versions of 3 old games. How is that not profitable? To be clear, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy are just emulated ROM games sold to you for $60 that you could literally, questionably legally, play on your PC right now for free. I don't see a scenario where for $60 they're not making money on games that they developed 20 plus years ago. I'm just saying, It's stupidly profitable for them. Like stupid. They put these games together in less than 6 months. It's stupidly profitable for them at $60. Holy shit! Breath of the Wild. I mean, you gotta remember, Super Mario 3D All Stars has likely crossed 10 million in sales right now. 10 million. Let me put that in perspective. That is more copies sold than any Zelda game not named Breath of the Wild. If Super Mario 3D All Stars was a Zelda game, it would be the best. Right now, the second best selling Zelda game of all time. You can't tell me that's not profitable. That's stupid. I mean, they made more money off of 3D All Stars than they probably made off of freaking Mario Odyssey 2, just because Mario Odyssey 2 actually required money to make the game. Like, they actually had to spend time developing it. So while it has twice the sales, they also had to spend a lot more money developing that game. I guarantee you they probably spent less than $500,000 putting together Super Mario 3D All Stars. I'm not even joking. I guarantee it was less than $500,000 to put that together. And they sold like 10 million copies at $60 a pop. Let's just look at $60 a pop. Yes, not all of that goes to well, this is digital. But no, not all of that goes to them. Well, let's say you got $60, and you times that by 10 million. I mean, that's $600 million. Now, yeah, you could talk about overhead and certain things. Maybe it's closer to $400 million. They made a lot of money. They made a lot of freaking money for a game they spent probably $500,000 on. Not even. Trust me. Profitable. Stupidly profitable. You guys Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for $54 by refreshing GameStop's page constantly for 2 days. That was a month ago. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what the shipments are like for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now. I know it started selling out, what was it, after the Mithra Pyra announcement, right, for Smash? That's when it started, like, just selling like crazy. Proof, again, that Super Smash Bros. Can sell games just by having characters included. It's kind of crazy. So people get curious. Hey, I never played that game. That character looks interesting. Let me check that game out. So I'm sure they're doing some new prints of that game, but it's still not going to be like a ton of stock, Every year, basically, they do an April 1st direct, as far as I know. Let's see. Just looking. I'm just looking here. They did an April 1st direct back in 2015. They didn't do anything in 2016 in April. In 2017, they did a direct on April 12th. And that's it for general directs. There might have been some game-specific directs, but general directs, they've only done 2 in April ever. And only one of them was on the 1st. So it's not actually that common that they do directs in April at all, let alone April 1st. At least that's just a quick look at Nintendo's YouTube channel on their Nintendo Direct playlist. Yeah, they could have deleted some directs, who knows. No. So you answered with Mario 35 was profitable, which corrects my incorrect assumption with that new info. I'm comparing it to the anniversary. Just shutting down to open it later. I mean, who knows? I believe you, sir. You're much deeper into this industry. The reason I'm here. Thanks for the info. No problem. I want to be clear here. I've been doing this a long time, right? Oh, jeez. Was my phone? No wonder my phone's so hot. There's a game loaded on my phone. It's been loaded on my phone this whole time without shutting. Oh, my gosh. Am I killing the battery on my phone? I better. Holy crap, the battery on my phone is dying. I better get this thing plugged in. Oh, no! Oh, well. I'll plug it in later. Yeah, I think, I want to be clear here. I've been covering video games for a long time. I've been a video game journalist. I used to get review copies of games from Nintendo back when I worked at a different outlet. And I have self-created all my success by starting a Zelda fan site at the age of 12 back in 1998. Reality is, I'm still just a gamer like all of you. I don't really have these super deep connections all throughout the industry. I just have been covering things very closely, especially with Nintendo, for over 20 years. So I know their patterns, I know their tendencies, and because of that, I'm able to maybe sound a bit more knowledgeable about things, when in reality, most of what I know, you could just research on the internet, use Google, figure it out. I'm not telling you anything that's not discoverable by anybody else. Now, do I still have some connections I've built up over the years? Sure, I do factually know some actual video game developers at some big third-party studios. The only contact I knew personally that used to work at Nintendo no longer works there, so I don't technically have a contact at Nintendo anymore. And so I have a few connections floating out there that I hear some things from, some things I can't talk about, some things I can talk about because nothing happened about it. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 was factually being made for Switch at one point, and then they abandoned it. Wasn't told why they abandoned it, just that they did. I'm assuming because it probably didn't run very well. So, like, I could say that stuff now because it's not going to happen anyways. It's not coming. But I don't really... I'm not like this deeply seated specialist out there. As in like Spawn Wave, man. That guy... He worked in repair. Now, I have worked in... motherboard manufacturing. So I have factually made motherboards for Xbox 360s, PlayStation 3s, Wii's, stuff like that. I worked in factories that made that stuff, and worked in final inspection. I used to inspect CPUs and GPUs. Like I've worked in that industry before, but I didn't. The machines do most of the work. to be clear, so like I didn't do a lot of repair work. Spawn Wave has done a lot of repair work. He used to do console repair work at game shops and stuff. So, like, he's kind of a specialist in that he's an expert at not just tearing down systems, but understanding how the systems work fundamentally on the different parts and different levels, and then obviously being able to repair and or customize those systems. So he's got kind of a unique skill set that not a lot of people have. My skill set, I don't even know what it is. Why do you guys watch my channel? I have no idea. I always say the reason to watch my channel is for me. And that means the reason to watch the channel is for my personality. I can't, my personality is not a skill set. It's just who I am. So I don't really do anything, and I know this as a YouTube content creator. I don't do anything that, oddly enough, MissClick, getting denied because she's not unique. There's nothing unique about my channel. I cover video game news and I give opinions. I don't even review games, really. So I cover video game news, I give opinions, and I run a video game podcast. Like thousands of other channels. There's nothing unique about what I'm doing. Except for me. Maybe people like the way I say things, the way I present things. I don't know. But like, I don't have some special, unique skill set that enables me to do what I do. I just been doing it a long time. I'm downloading the Metroid Prime Trilogy, and it has less than a gigabyte, but it's taking 7 hours. Cool. Let's see here. Can you tell us anything about development of Breath of the Wild 2 then? Because that has been in production since 2017. I don't know anything. I don't have a connection at Nintendo anymore. So I know as much as the public does, and that is that we're getting news about it this year. I'm assuming it's coming out for the 35th anniversary of Zelda, by the way. If not this year, early next year. Sweet Life of Dia Brandon. Nintendo Prime is a lot more neutral than most gaming channels. What does that mean? I want to be clear here. I don't watch a lot of video game YouTubers. I watch a couple. I watch MissClick Gaming once in a while. I'll catch beat 'em ups sometimes. But I don't really watch a lot of video game YouTube. I don't have time. Yet I find time to watch sports coverage. So I guess I have time. I just choose to spend it watching other things. I already report on the video game news. I don't need other channels to tell me what I already know. But what do you mean by neutral? Can you give me an example, Sweet Life? I don't want you to put another YouTube channel on blast. But like, what do you mean? I'm always curious, like, because I don't really watch other channels, so I'm not really necessarily aware of what they're like. A lot. Like, I've seen videos from a lot of different video game YouTube channels, but they're just talking about things I already know. Less corporate drone. I do not see Nintendo Prime hyping gacha games. So I remember when I put Fire Emblem Heroes on blast. Here's the thing. I'm not against gacha games. You know, I try to examine like the human psyche when it comes to things like why we prefer certain types of games. Like, why are gacha games successful? Yes, we know for obviously the game developer, it's a big money maker. Okay, we know that. But why do people swear by those games and enjoy them? I don't know. I wish I could explain why they do. My fiance enjoys those kind of games. She enjoys gacha mechanics. I've asked her about it, and she says, I don't know. There's just something thrilling about the chance at something and being rewarded. And the disappointment of not getting rewarded just makes the rewards feel that much sweeter. And you know what? To a point, I get that. You know what? Why do we buy those gacha balls from like GameStop or in Japan that have like little figurines in them, but you're not sure which figurine it is, and you might get disappointed if you get one you already have, but you also might get excited if you get one you don't. Here's an even better example. Pokemon cards, right? Pokemon cards are literally gacha. You spend all this money, $3, $6 a pack, whatever, hoping to get certain cards that you're not going to get 99% of the time. So, like, I get it. When you compare it to like something like Pokemon cards, I get it. There is kind of this gotcha thing that's enjoyable about spending money on something and not getting like something that is what you want, but that makes when you get what you want so much more exciting. I actually understand that from a psychological standpoint. It's not necessarily the smartest thing financially, but I understand it from a psychological, like why that's exciting and how that builds anticipation. So I'm not necessarily against gacha. I think as long as the game clearly isn't trying to hide the gacha mechanics, like if it's built around it, but it tries to hide it and pretend it's not that bad. Like Fire Emblem Heroes, it doesn't pretend shit. It's not out here like EA telling you can get every player you want to build your team in FIFA Ultimate Team without ever spending money besides the initial price of the game. That's bullshit. Sure, if someone's going to be alive for 89 years, they could get all the players they want, potentially, maybe, if they're lucky. It's not really realistic. So as long as the game's not out here trying to pretend, oh, you can get every hero in the game without ever spending money. As long as the game's not saying something like that, and they're just honest, hey, yeah, we got a gacha mechanic. Cool. So like Fire Emblem Heroes, I don't like that it has a gacha mechanic, but you know what? I get why people enjoy it. Same reason that I enjoyed Pokemon cards growing up. I get it. You know, I understand it. Nothing wrong with gacha mechanics when they are when they're stated to be that way. You know, but when you say like I'm not corporate, I think maybe a better way to phrase it is not so much that I'm not corporate. I mean, I'm not, but that this also stunts the growth of my channel too. I am both happy and critical of companies like Nintendo at the same time. I know that's something I do. I criticize Nintendo a ton. I also praise them a ton when they do things I like. That's what I am. And every time I'm critical of Nintendo, it usually has a negative impact on my channel. Even if that video gets 10,000 views, my channel might lose 200 subscribers. So like it has a negative long-term impact. My channel would do much better if I just did positive content all the time. And anytime someone brought up a negative thing Nintendo does, if I just kind of passed it off, and kind of ignored it, my channel would do much better, but that's not who I am. Same thing that sometimes I get Nintendo fans that come to my live streams and they expect me to just trash on Sony or trash on, definitely Xbox. If you're not going to trash on Sony, definitely trash on Xbox because they don't have any exclusive games. They all go to PC. Well, they're not all on PC yet. I think that's the goal one day. But I'm not going to trash on any of the systems. I think all of them provide something. I wouldn't own an Xbox Series X, a PlayStation 5, and a Switch, and a gaming PC if I didn't think each platform offered me something that's a little bit different than the other platforms. For Xbox, it's pretty simple. It's just ease of use, ease of access. Game Pass games work without issue on Xbox Series X. That's not true on PC. It might be true on PC eventually, but right now, Game Pass has some issues on PC. Not just with certain games not being available, but even some of the games that are available. There's a lot of disconnect issues and other things. I don't have that problem on Xbox. It's almost like Game Pass is kind of half-baked on PC, but it's not on Xbox. So it's a pretty compelling reason to own an Xbox just for Game Pass. Plus, there's always that easy use. Why do you console game versus PC? It's just, in some cases, it's just easier. In some cases, I don't want to take my gaming PC and hook it up to my freaking TV every time. Just keep it hooked up. I'm like, I got other things to hook up to that TV. I only have 2 HDMI ports on that TV. I don't have an HDMI switcher. I already have multiple monitors for my PC. Monitors that run at higher refresh rates. So sometimes I just want to play on a giant screen at 60 FPS and don't give a shit. Other times I want to play on my massive super widescreen monitor that's 144 hertz. Sometimes I want to use mouse and keyboard. Sometimes I want to use a controller. I don't have to worry about button mapping as an example. That's a positive on PC, but it's also kind of annoying that I have to, every game I play, I better check my button mapping and make sure things are mapped correctly and it's reading the buttons correctly. Whereas on Xbox, just pick up my Xbox One controller, hit the X button, it's on. 2 clicks later, I'm playing a game. Simpler than PC. There's a simplicity to it. And the same thing's true for Switch. Same thing's true for PlayStation. A lot of PlayStation games are going to PC too. So I find myself constantly defending other systems that aren't Nintendo a lot. It's weird. It's a weird thing that I find myself defending systems more than anything. But that's just what fans do because I have a lot of Nintendo fans on my channel that kind of expect me to be hardcore Nintendo and not into anything else. Which isn't true. Gacha appeals to collectors. That's probably true for us productions. Some channels are forced to hype games for content like the new Pokemon Gen 4 remakes. Why are they forced? I'm just curious. I don't watch some of these channels. So, why are they forced to do anything? I think the Gen 4 remakes look fine. I don't have a problem with them. I've already made multiple videos on it. We did an entire podcast on it. Or am I not guilty of the same thing? Did I not just do the same thing? Didn't I just hype those games up not too long ago? But I didn't do it for views. It was my honest opinion. So if it's my, how do we know that's not the honest opinion of other channels? That's kind of what I'm saying. How do you know that's not how they actually feel? How do you know it's fake hype? Unless they've said things that are hypocritical many times over again about games, or they'll say they hype up a game and then they say they don't like it. They hype up a game and say they don't like it, or they say they don't like a game but then they hype up the game anyways. Unless there's channels that obviously get review copies of games, and there's always going to be that trust factor with you're part of the Nintendo Ambassadors program. Can we really trust what you say? Because when you're in the Ambassadors programs, maybe you're worried about doing something that's going to upset Nintendo. Beat 'em Ups got kicked out of the damn Ambassadors program likely because he played a modded version of Breath of the Wild. Sounds like that's probably why he got kicked out. Can you trust these, these YouTubers that might be trying to appease so they keep getting their free copies of games, which I find funny too. How the industry works when they're giving you review copies of games. So like giving you early access to a game for review purposes, I think has a lot of value. Okay, there's a lot of value in giving an outlet, a YouTuber, anything, early access to a game for review purposes because, yeah, they have an audience that they're trying to give honest opinions on a game to. And you want to have those opinions out the same day the audience is going to be buying or picking up their copy of the game. Because if they have a pre-order for a physical copy in, and your review is trash, and they watch your review and they're like, oh man, this game really sucks, I don't want to buy it now, they can return it. So there is some value there to early copies of games going out. But then there's also that thought process, can you trust people who might be making choices and decisions based on whether or not they're going to keep getting free copies of games? And the funny thing is, the people that get these free copies don't need free copies for anything other than reviews. They can afford to buy copies on their own. Like, usually people who get these review copies are rather big YouTubers, rather big outlets that can just buy a copy themselves on day one like anybody else. But yeah, they're the ones who get the free copies. Obviously be wary of the smaller creators. Smaller creators that get free copies that maybe can't buy the games without the ambassador program. But I don't know. I think that it's just a hard, this is a difficult medium when it comes to trust. Is everyone sus? That's the hip term everyone's using these days, right? Because of Among Us. Man, you're really sus. You guys should be sus of everyone. You guys shouldn't trust anybody, especially on the internet. You shouldn't trust me. Being honest. Like, I like to feel like I try to build up a relationship with my viewers, but at the same point, you guys don't freaking know me. What if I turn out to be a serial killer? You guys have no idea. It's just, you should be sus of everyone. Enjoy stuff, be entertained, be informed, but, you never really know with anybody. NVIDIA will have an event on April 12th. They talk about the new Ada Lovelace tech. Yeah, they probably won't talk about like anything Switch specific. You're not going to hear about a Switch Pro first from NVIDIA. We can speculate on the tech, but there won't be any announcements like, oh yeah, this is for a Nintendo console. They're not going to say stuff like that. It might be worth speculating, if that chip is the one that we think is going to be in the system. But Sweet Life of Dio Brando says, as an example, if you are a Pokatuber, so a Pokemon YouTuber, you have to hype it for content. If no one cared about it, then it would be a drought of content. Would it be? Would it be? Is there not other Pokemon things they could be focusing on? How about new Pokemon Snap? New Pokemon Snap seems to be well received by everybody. Previews of the game were glowing. Everyone seems to love what they're seeing. Is that not something that they could be hyping up instead? If they're not in to the Gen 4 remakes, why can't they be talking about new Pokemon Snap? That literally comes out next month. Why would a Pokemon YouTuber who doesn't like Gen 4 remakes hype up Gen 4 remakes when there's other big Pokemon games coming out? Don't like the Gen 4 remakes? Pokemon Legends Arceus. Hello? Like, the Pokemon Company gave us other things to talk about if you don't like the Gen 4 remakes. So I don't think even Pokemon YouTubers right now have to hype up those games or they have no content. They have two other major games right now to talk about. In addition to updates to Pokemon Go constantly going on. There's plenty of other I'm just saying this as someone who used to cover Zelda games, like literally for a living. If I could find a way when Zelda games were coming out like once every 3 years, to find new and interesting ways to talk about Zelda all the time, I'm pretty sure a Pokemon YouTuber can come up with new and interesting ways to talk about Pokemon that don't involve a game they don't like. And I've seen some Pokemon YouTubers out there actually put up videos hating on the Gen 4 remakes. I didn't watch them, but the titles and the thumbnails definitely suggested that they were not happy with it. Now, I don't know if that's true across the board, but again, I don't watch their content. I think I saw one Pokemon YouTuber's take on it. I can't remember. I don't remember which YouTuber it was, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. I know I follow a couple. I'm subscribed to a couple. I'm subscribed to a lot of channels, so it's hard for me to sift through. I'm gonna have to go through my list sometime and see if which Pokemon YouTubers I'm actually subscribed to. Some are just ones that YouTube suggests to me. So Sips Extra Wacky Harley Sonder. I love that extra long name. So I suppose you're not neutral as much as you are balancing out what you hear online. So with the overly combative console wars, you respond with how they all work great in their own ways. Yeah, I think it's more... so look, console wars are fun. All right? You can get a lot of views participating in console wars, man. Console wars is entertaining at times to talk about. You know, which console is selling best, which console has the best exclusives, which of this. Like, that's fun stuff to have conversations about. I think it's very conversation worthy. But I don't think we need to put down other platforms to prop your platform up. That's where I get really annoyed with console wars. Is we can't be happy with what we have. We have to validate what we have by putting down what we don't. Or maybe we do have something. Like maybe someone out there owns a Switch and an Xbox Series X, and they go, fuck Xbox, because my Switch has all the games I want to play. I've had a Series X since launch, and I got shit to play. Okay, that's fine to have that opinion. And it's probably true for them. To them, there's nothing to play on Xbox Series X right now. So they're playing a lot of Switch. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that stance. But when you start to go, man, Xbox Series X just sucks. Like, no, it just doesn't have games you want to play yet. There's a reason you still bought it at launch. It just doesn't have the games you want to play yet. And I don't know why you thought it would when we already knew what the lineup was going to be. So, like, you already knew before the system came out that the games you wanted to play for weren't going to be there yet. So is that Xbox's fault or is that your fault? If you bought Xbox Series X at launch and you're not happy because there's nothing to play, you knew what was going to be available. Microsoft didn't hide it. They didn't act like you were going to get something that you're not. They even told us months ahead of time that Halo wasn't going to be there. So, like, who are you mad at? Are you mad at Microsoft or are you mad at yourself for purchasing something before it had content on it you wanted to play? So, like, Xbox doesn't suck. Your purchasing decision sucked. But, like, that's what happens. We feel like we have to put things down to make other things better. Just let the system stand on their own merit. We don't have to attack other fans and other fandoms and other systems to make things sound good. Switch is factually doing really, really well in the marketplace. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are both factually doing really, really well in the marketplace. Oh, yeah, PlayStation's selling, it's at like 2 million more total sales than Xbox right now. Okay, they're both selling out. What's the problem? You think Microsoft cares that they're 2 million units behind? Microsoft doesn't even post sales figures anymore. Do you think they give a shit? What they care about is their Xbox Game Pass has gone from 12 million subscribers to 20. That's what they care about. Game Pass is growing. They want Game Pass to keep growing. That's what Microsoft... They look at the numbers. Our subscriber base is growing. Success. They don't look at success the same way that Nintendo and Sony do. Because they're built on subscription services. I don't know. I just think it's weird seeing that stuff. So, like, I have opinions. So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily neutral on anything. Yeah, bud? You need a charger? Did it die? No. Oh, then what's up?
Where did you download my Rice Krispie treat? I thought you left it in the car. Did you?
It's for tomorrow for school, remember?
No, but I want it.
No, tomorrow. Yeah, you can. My son's trying to beg me for a Rice Krispie treat that's supposed to be for snack at school tomorrow. Nope, it's for school. Well, it's in the car at Mom's work, so you don't have a choice. I can't wait. What he's saying is he's hungry, but he won't eat the food provided to him. He's got some killer snacks upstairs right now. So not only do we have, the normal fruit snacks, crackers, cookies thing. Like, dude, we got pretzel bites up there right now that were just made today, homemade, with dipping cheese. Like, come on. That is the bomb diggity. Dude, the kids got churros up there, homemade. That kid's got snack options out the butt. But, of course, what does he want? The damn Rice Krispie bar that we bought at the gas station this morning that's supposed to be for snack at school tomorrow. That he has to have that. Can't have any other cool shit I made. Isn't that the way it goes, though? I'm sure I was the same way when I was a kid, right? Have all this great snack food, these nice homemade meals. But you know what? I just want that fucking Happy Meal, man. I want that McDonald's toy. Oh, man, I want to go to the gas station and get that pack of gum that I don't need because what I have is not good enough. No kids. I'm sure I was the same way as a kid. I wouldn't know because I was the kid asking. I wasn't the parent getting the questions. Hello, Mr. Prime. Which number are you? What are you talking about? I have a favorite number. Is that what you're asking? I don't know. Don't think I'm defined by a number. Unless you're saying I'm just like part of a computer simulation. So we're all just zeros and ones. I think he's saying PokeTubers need to hype up the products their content revolves around. So hypothetically, if Pokemon games were doing badly, the PokeTuber would need to overhype a game. I mean, can't you say the same thing about my channel? My channel's called Nintendo Prime. Don't I need to overhype Nintendo things? Isn't that like something I need to be doing? My viewership's not doing great. I guess I should start overhyping things, huh? Like I don't know that. Like I understand you can't necessarily compare one YouTuber to another that way, but like I'm a primarily Nintendo YouTube channel. Couldn't you argue the same thing? I don't think just because you're in a certain field means that we should assume that people are being, disingenuous. That's what like we don't know. Be suspicious. Your reason to be suspicious is fine, but like that's the same reason you should be suspicious of my channel. Like you should be suspicious of every channel. I just don't think we should just assume they're doing certain things because of it. I think that's a dangerous territory to like a dangerous line to walk, where you assume people are being fake because they need to worry about their channel. Now, does it happen? Sure. Of course it does. But do we factually know who's doing it? I don't think it's always so clear. Wow, you got the 0 and 1 thing pretty quickly. Are you trying to? I'm a computer programmer, dude. People might not know this. I'm in college to be a computer programmer. So like I'm well aware that like computer programs are all zeros and ones. I'm not got it pretty quickly. Oh man. I'm not an idiot over here. Nintendo Prime diversifies content. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like my Here's the News thing, that obviously covers more than just Nintendo news in there. But like, if you notice, a lot of my individual videos are usually Nintendo. Yeah, I did one on Sony today, which didn't perform the greatest, because of course it didn't, because it's Sony, and my channel has mostly Nintendo fans. So like, yeah, it's gonna cross 1,000 views. It's doing a little bit better than my Here's the News the other day. But you know why the Here's the News didn't do as well? The headline had Monster Hunter Rise in it, so why didn't the video get a ton of views? Because the thumbnail has Cyberpunk. My audience doesn't care about Cyberpunk. There was Cyberpunk news, but my audience doesn't care about it. So, Nate, why'd you put Cyberpunk? Because I'm trying to, diversify. I just did a stream for Monster Hunter Rise. I don't like having samey-looking thumbnails next to each other. And I do want to diversify. Maybe someone who's interested in Cyberpunk sees that thumbnail, decides to check out the video, it says, hey, oh, cool. I want to follow this guy's channel. Like, I don't want to just keep catering to the same audience. And ultimately, that's why my channel doesn't grow that fast. Because I don't pick a lane and stay in it. On YouTube, you need to pick a lane and stay. You don't get to, do whatever the hell you want. You have to pick a lane and stay in it. Like, as an example, probably the most consistently successful thing I create right now is the Nintendo Prime podcast. I don't know how the hell we got to a point where the Nintendo Prime podcast is the thing that gets the most consistent viewership. But basically, every episode or conversation piece of the Nintendo Prime podcast is getting over 2,000 views every single time. It's the only piece of content I can release and guarantee it's going to get 2,000 views. I just know it. Every time I'm getting 2,000 views. New episode I recorded this week, it's going to get 2,000 views. I can't guarantee anything else I do. Some things are going to get more views than that. I'll do an individual video that might get 8,000 views, 10,000 views, 100,000 views. But I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know what content's going to blow up. But I know on the podcast, every episode, 2,000 views. It's kind of crazy. And I don't know how that happened. So, you look at that. Maybe I should just be a podcast channel. Maybe I stop. Maybe I stop making, here's the news. Maybe I stop making individual videos and I focus on conversation podcast videos. Start up multiple podcasts. That's always the thing too. So it's an interesting concept, interesting perspective of when you examine a channel, channels need to basically choose one thing and just focus on that. And my channel doesn't. So that's kind of why my channel doesn't grow that quickly, because I don't have a lane. I have like 30 lanes, and I don't do any of them like better than anybody else. I just kind of create the content on the daily that I want to make that day. Like, I don't live stream every day. Here I am streaming. Why? Because I wanted to. I could have made another video, but I wanted to stream. So here I am streaming. I don't really have... There's no consistency. I think any long-term viewer of my channel can tell you my channel is not consistent at all. There's a follow-up comment to the one I just read. You were asking what prime number I am. I see. Well, that's not the way the question came across, but I understand why you would say we were asking that, because Nintendo Prime number. I get it. Nintendo Prime is going to play super hot in computer software as a job in his college. No. I'm thinking about working with servers when I'm older. Do you have any tips? Like, are you trying to be like a server administrator? A technician? Networking? What are you actually interested in specifically with servers? There's multiple paths to working with servers. So it all depends on what you're actually interested in. I'm guessing it's because we come for your personality and collaborations between influencers and YouTubers. You like works great, is my guess. Yeah, who knows? Are we drinking yet? We have not had a single super chat this entire stream. No donation or super chat. Oh, speaking of donations and super chats, because I do shots for every single one. I have new membership tiers, just freshly launched today. When you hit that join button now, it's no longer just the $5 tier. We now have a $3 tier. We also have a 10, a 15, a 20, or a 25, and a 50. I don't expect anyone to actually join those upper tiers, but they exist anyways. And you want to become a champion today, a Nintendo Prime champion. All you got to do is join that $3 tier. We currently have 4 members on our channel. The current member goal is 10. Are we going to get there? I have no idea. Adam Butters! Is that what you were asking him? You're like, hey, are we drinking yet? Hasn't happened yet. I finally get to crack my Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. After all, the weather is starting to get a little bit warmer outside. Might as well crack the Leinies here. And my good old Wisconsin, the Badger State shot glass, because born and raised Wisconsin, baby. A lot of head on this one. I'm going to give it a second for the head to settle down. Too much head! Whoever complains about too much head. I don't care who you are. You don't complain about too much head. Pepsi, Grid, and Coke. I actually like Coke. Coke Zero. I actually like Coke better. I don't really drink a ton of soda anymore. I've been cutting back. I've been cutting back for a while, but now I'm down. Like, this will be like the only one I drink today. And then otherwise it's just water the rest of the day. Super chat and money for your son's Rice Krispie. He has. It's not. Okay, I kind of told a white lie. It's not in the car. It is in a car, but it is not in the car that he thinks it's in. It is in a car that is in my garage right now. So we technically have 2 cars. We have our Dodge Durango that I've talked about before. That's our primary vehicle. And then we also have a 2006 Malibu. The 2006 Malibu is down and out. Probably needs a new engine. So it's just sitting in the garage. So his Rice Krispie treat is actually hidden in that car. Because I knew he was going to ask for it after school. And I knew I wanted him to take it. That was the agreement when we bought it this morning, is that it would be for snack at school. So I kind of sort of told a fib. Because it is here. It's just in the other car. Cheers. This one's for Adam Butters. And then we got Mariano Rivera coming up as well. But hey, become a member today. It's only $3. $3. That's it. Pretty cheap. You become a member of the YouTube channel. Help support the channel. And plus, hey, we hit our member goals. We hit 10 members. That's a giveaway, baby. Every time we hit our member goals, it's a new giveaway. Also, go down into the description and join our Gilded server. That's right. I have something different. It's not. I'll put a link to it right now, actually. The Gilded server is not what you might think. It's kind of like Discord. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I just like it better than Discord. Join our Gilded server today. Like I really enjoy Gilded a lot. It's got lobbies set up for like Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, actually World of Warcraft as well, because I do play that game. I don't currently have a guild in World of Warcraft right now. Maybe if you guys also play World of Warcraft and you'd like to set up a guild with me, a Nintendo Prime guild, I would be more than happy to. I play on the Zul'jin server. I'm on the Alliance side. We can maybe get that going. Maybe I can set something up for Minecraft. We have enough people who want to play Minecraft together. You guys can go in there and discuss Minecraft and set things up. We could set up scheduled play times. We have calendars on Gilded. I really like Gilded a lot. I'm not abandoning the Discord server, by the way. I just prefer Gilded. So I'm both, but I mostly use I'm more likely to respond to you on Gilded than I am on any other service. But we're not getting rid of the Discord server. I'm not stupid. Discord is awesome, but I just like Gilded better. I like to drink root beer, specifically Bangs. Gilded is a free app that's like Discord. You can download it on your phone, PC, whatever. Cheers. And it's not being bought up by Microsoft anytime soon. For people who care about the man buying out everything. Because who the hell knows what's going to happen to Discord after Microsoft buys it. Cheers. Summer Shandy. A Weiss beer with natural lemonade flavor. I don't know if I like the lemonade in it, to be honest, but Leinenkugels. Also a beer made in my hometown. I like to drink root beer. Bang root beer. I'm not a fan of the Bang. I like Bang, but I'm not a fan of the Bang root beer. Let's see here. Wow, what good parenting. Lie to your kid. It's a little bit of a white lie. I don't want them having it. The reality is, okay, you guys might think this is crazy. My kids go to bed at 7. All right? I know that's early. You don't got to tell me. I'm aware it's early. Here's the problem. Whether our kids are up till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, it doesn't really matter how late they're up. They wake up at the same time every single day. And the thing is, that same time is typically 5, 6 a.m., which is fine. That's fine for school. The problem is that they need a lot of sleep. Our one daughter has depression and is on certain medications that makes her require to get more sleep. So she needs to have like 11 hours of sleep. And the other two, if they get less sleep, they don't do well. So they do better when they have more sleep, just from a mood perspective. And even now, they'll go to bed at 7. They'll wake up at 5 or 6. That's 11, 12 hours. That's like 10, 11 hours more like. They'll come home after school, and they're just exhausted. Exhausted. Because they play so hard all day long. My boys are like maniacs. They play so hard. So, in the end, 7 o'clock is early. And yeah, their bedtimes, when they get older, we're 10, 7, and 5 right now. I think, by the time our daughter gets to 12, 13, she'll be staying up till 8 or 9. But like, they need that sleep. So, right now, Rice Krispie, it's 5:30 p.m. They go to bed in 90 minutes. It's too much sugar to have this time of day. It's too much sugar. He won't be able to sleep. If I let him have that Rice Krispie, he won't be able to sleep until, 9 o'clock. And then he's not going to get enough sleep, and he's going to be really cranky tomorrow. And I know that. So, it's a lie. Parents lie to their kids. Newsflash, parents lie to their kids all the time. Like, when a parent tells you that you can't have something or you can't do something, and you keep asking why, and they say, because I said so. Oh, they have a reason. They just don't want to tell you because they know that reason is going to piss off the kid even more. Because the reason is typically because I just don't want to fucking do it, or I don't want to deal with the mess, or I don't, like, all this shit that the kid's going to be like, oh, but it won't be that bad. And the kids say that every time, and then it ends up worse than what the parent fears that it would be every single time. Parents lie to their kids all the time. Little white lies, parents do it all the time. They have to keep, us parents, we got to keep our sanity, man. Now, when you only have one kid, I'll say this, it's easier to not have to worry about this stuff with only one kid. But when you got 3 kids, a girl, 2 boys, like I do, different age groups, like, you can't please them all at the same time. It's literally impossible to please all 3 kids at the same time. When you only have one kid, it's not as bad. Liam, fair, but lying creates distrust, and distrust breeds contempt, and contempt breeds lying to you and sneaking out at night and get hurt worse. So, I disagree. I just disagree. Because here's the bottom line. What did I say to my son? I said, no, you can't have your Rice Krispie. He tried saying, but I want it. I said no. Why did I lie? Why did I say, oh, it's not here? Why did I lie? To end the conversation, he wasn't going to get the Rice Krispie. Period. I wasn't going to give in and give him the Rice Krispie. I told him no. You guys heard me. I told my son no. So why did I lie and say the Rice Krispie isn't here and it's in a car that's not here? To de-escalate the situation. He's never going to know I lied. He's never going to know. Parents lie to their kids all the time, and the kids don't know. That's the point. It's a little tiny white lie to de-escalate a situation where he would have argued with me. And then I would have had to probably put soap in his mouth because he probably would have swore at me or said something stupid. And then I would have to ground him to his room. And then he'd yell some more. And then I'd have to go end the live stream. And then I'd have to put him on timeout. All these things avoided by me simply saying, hey, I said no, and it's not here anyway, so you might as well give up trying. Basically, it's telling the kid, it ain't worth throwing a fit over because I couldn't give it to you anyways. It's just a way to de-escalate a situation. That's all. I'm not talking about like lies like, like why can't I go to grandma's or whatever? Because grandma doesn't want to see you, which would probably be a lie. Like it could be maybe the car isn't working. Like you're not supposed to lie to your kids like about big stuff. Just like little things that de-escalate situations that the kid's never really going to find out about. Like I don't think that's a big deal because that comes from knowing your kid. That's like knowing the transition of what's going to happen based on prior behavior. You tell the kid no, but the kid really, really wants something. The kid's going to escalate the situation because they don't respect the fact that you said no, because their desire for whatever you said no to is higher than their concern over you grounding them or putting them on timeout. So like, I just didn't want to go there as a parent. So sometimes you say, look, I said no, and I can't give it to you anyways. Situation avoided. Situation avoided. He's never going to know. Life moves on. He's not watching the stream. Nope. They're not allowed on YouTube. Cut it out, pseudo parents. It matters how far and how long parents keep lying. Parents lying to teenagers and older is shitty, though. As a kid, I completely understand. Look, teenagers different. Lying to a teen is not. So I don't have a teenager yet, so it's hard for me to speak on this directly. I don't feel like my parents really lied to me as a teen. I'm sure they lied to me a ton when I was younger, either for my own protection or because like there's certain conversations they don't think I'm ready to have yet. Like, where do babies come from? Stuff like that. Like parents might kind of talk around that when you're little, right? Like it's kind of a more grown-up conversation to have. Because maybe it's just the parents not comfortable talking about it. That could be the real truth about it. Maybe the kid would be fine hearing it, but the parent's not comfortable. So, what's sex? What's this? What's that? Like these conversations need to be, I think, had when the kid is more apt to receive them. Some kids are mature earlier than others and are ready for those conversations earlier. I can agree with that perspective. But lying to teenagers, I think, is a little bit different. There's not really a reason to ever, I feel, lie to a teen. Teenagers are going to be, you're going to get caught lying. Like, with teenagers, you could be a bit more honest, I feel. As an example, the kid asks, hey, I'm 13, can my friend spend the night? And then, like, tomorrow, can you drive us to the movie theater? If you tell them, well, I don't care if your friend spends the night, as long as I don't have to pick them up and drop them off. If their parents want to pick them up and drop them off, that's fine. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really have the money for you to go to a movie. And yeah, that kind of sucks because he's probably going to tell his friend, I can't go to the movie because we're broke. Or whatever the hell, right? Like, yeah, that kind of sucks that's the reputation that's going to go around. But here's the deal. If you lie to the kid and say, no, you can't go to the movie because, I need the car for something else and I'm not going to be here. And then it turns out that, tomorrow comes around and you are here and you are with the car and really you slept in or whatever. Like, I don't think there's a real reason to lie super hard to teenagers. I'm trying to think of like a situation where, as a parent, I'm trying to think of a situation as a parent where I would think that I might need to white lie to a kid. Unless you're trying to, like, if you're trying to surprise them, I think that's obviously different. Like, you have a surprise party, a surprise gift to them, like a car when they're 16 and you're trying to surprise them. Like, that's different. Surprises, I think everyone understands. White lies for that. It's just like a temporary lie just so they can be surprised. I don't think people have a problem with that, but I'm trying to think as a parent, a situation where I would lie to my kid at that age. Even if they asked me about sex, like, is sex good? I'd tell them, yeah, sex is fucking great, but let me explain to you the downsides of it. And then that's when you get into talking about kids and pregnancy. And heck, do you want to see how a baby's born? Let's go. I got a perfect video for you to watch. Here's the birth of a child. Here's what you're subjecting that person you love to by not wrapping your dick or whatever the fuck, right? Like, and even doing it, you can still have a chance. Like, it's all. I can't think of a scenario where I feel like I would lie to my teenagers. Not intentionally, anyways. There might be something like you say, like you intend to do something and then something comes up and you can't. That happens all the time. That's not a lie. Teenagers don't understand that. Teenagers will be like, but you promised you were going to do this, but then something came up at work. Something came up with a family emergency. Teenagers don't always understand that stuff. They think, God, my parent lied to me. It's like, we didn't lie to you at the time. We didn't plan on other things coming up. And that's something that I think a lot of teenagers don't always understand until they're adults, is prioritizing things in life. Prioritization is important. I know as a teenager, I didn't understand it. There were times I said my parents were liars. And then as I got older, They didn't lie to me. Things just came up. And as an adult, I'm very aware that things just come up that are sometimes outside your control. But teenagers don't get that. Teenagers get, you told me I could do this, or you would give me this, or this, or I would get, an increase in my allowance this week if I mowed the lawn, twice this week instead of once, and blah, blah, blah. But then something comes up and you can't afford to give them that extra allowance, or you get something that you didn't plan. Like, it happens. But teenagers don't understand it. They just think you lied to them to make them do something. It's not a lie. But again, they don't understand that until they're older, and then they deal with actual responsibilities, and not just this responsibility of having chores and getting homework done. Like, hey, you got to pay bills. You got to pay shit on time, or your cell phone gets turned off. You got to do this. You got to do that. Like, it's a lot of responsibility that teenagers don't always understand. Because teenagers, that's like the last years of being a kid. Have fun, man. Play your sports. Play your band and music. Work a job at 15 if you want. Make some extra money. Go to movies. Hang out with friends. Just be prepared for adulthood, because that's not often what adulthood is like. Maybe it is initially in college if you decide to go to college, but it's not always going to be that way. You're eventually going to have reality frickin' punch you right in the face. And then you'll start to understand, oh, maybe my parents weren't really lying to me. Maybe shit just happens. And parents are doing their best to navigate the damn minefield. That's the way I feel like so many days with my kids right now, 10-year-old, 7 and 5. Every day I am navigating a minefield. I told my kid no to the Rice Krispie, and then the Rice Krispie isn't here, even though it is, because I avoided a minefield. I am navigating that minefield. One wrong step, and I'll pay the consequence. But Santa Claus. Anybody in therapy because of Santa Claus? I don't think anyone's in therapy because of Santa Claus. You trying to tell me Santa Claus isn't real? Adam Butters, don't you dare tell me Santa Claus isn't real. To this day, Santa Claus is real. Jolly old St. Nicholas, whatever you dismay. What if I learned karate? Reality, karate doesn't defend you from anything. That's kind of funny though. Part-time jobs aren't as bad as school, for a few reasons. Here's why kids don't feel like part-time jobs are as bad as school. School is typically something that you really don't want to do, and you have to do it full-time Monday through Friday. Okay? It's like 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. You don't get anything at the end of it, except a certificate at the end of high school that says, congratulations, you graduated high school. You don't get anything, of significant immediate value. You work a part-time job. You work in 15 hours a week or whatever. During school, maybe during the summer, you're pushing 20. Okay? Whatever the limitations are. I think it's 20 at 15, but you can go up to 20, 25 at 16. I can't remember what the restrictions are these days. That's what it was when I was a kid. So say you work at 15 hours a week, mostly on weekends, and then summer you're working 20 hours or whatever. Okay? You're barely doing anything compared to school. Okay? School, you're doing 40 hours a week. Here you're only doing 20. But you get a paycheck at the end of it. Money that to you seems amazing. You could spend it on video games. You can go to movies. You can put gas in your car and hang out with your girlfriend all the time, or your boyfriend, or whatever, whatever you're dating. Like, you can do all these really cool things because you have spending money. But why do you have spending money? Because you still don't really have responsibilities. You're not paying a cell phone bill. You're not paying rent. You're not paying electric. You're not buying, the food. You might buy food. You might choose to spend your money on fast food or whatever, but you're not buying the groceries for the house that your parents are cooking. Like, you still don't really have that many responsibilities. So that's why a part-time job seems great, because it's basically, I'm doing half the work I would do at school. I get paid for it, and I can spend that money on anything I want. But that's still not reality. It's just not reality. School is basically a job. School is basically a job. Just like being a parent is basically a job. Parents more than full-time. Parent is 24/7, 365. There are times that you might get breaks, like when they're at school or at daycare, or what. You're still ultimately responsible for that kid. There's not a time until that kid turns 18 that you are not responsible for that kid. So parents, a full-time gig. Once you get out of college, once you get out of high school, whenever you're not going to school full-time, guess what? Your job replaces school. All high school and all these schools really do is prepare you for what being an adult is like. My fiance's sister, she got into drugs and stuff like that, and basically hasn't worked a day in her life. And she dropped out of high school. And the thing is, like, she's like, school is bullshit. It's so boring. And I'm like, school's preparing you for what fucking adulthood is like. For on average 8 hours, sometimes more per day, adults are doing dumb shit at a job that we would rather be going to do something else that's fun. Some people are fortunate enough to really love their job and they would do their job for fun. But I'm just saying that, for most people, that's not the case. It's training you to get ready for what adulthood is like for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, if you're lucky, 9 to 5, if you're lucky. You are doing a bunch of shit you don't want to do, so you have the money to at least survive in this world. And so, like, for people, I hate school, I hate this. I'm like, if you can't make it through school, how are you going to handle adulthood? School is kind of easy compared to adulthood. Compared to what my life is now, and I love my kids. I love my fiance. I love what I'm doing here on YouTube. I don't really love college, to be completely honest. I'm just doing what I got to do. I would much rather go back to my 8 hours and part-time job in high school, man. Like, man, life was so much simpler then. It was so much easier. I remember bitching about school, and it's like, dude, school is a cakewalk in comparison to adulthood. Keep me in high school years forever, man. High school is like that perfect age, where you're old enough and adult enough to understand things and do things, and but also at the same point still not necessarily have all the responsibilities in the world. You took journalism law, but the lack of ethics in journalism made it feel, well, that's more a career path choice, Clayton. That's more a career path choice. It's kind of funny. Journalism's an interesting thing. People go and get those journalism degrees. But then, like, you get out in the real world. And the way they teach you journalism in college is practically nothing like what you're going to do in an actual job. Now, does the degree help you get the job? Sure. And you know that firsthand, Clayton. But, like, also, you now know from actual experience, there's a difference between, like, being a journalist and going to college for a journalist. That's true in a lot of fields, by the way. In my field, I've been told by many programmers that there's what they teach you in college, and then there's what you actually do at your job. And they don't necessarily line up. So you're like, why do you need the college degree? Because it's all part of a broken system. You need the degree to get the job, but the job really doesn't have much to do with that degree, blah, 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 blah. Like, Clayton, I'm sure much of what you do as a journalist, and I know you're a journalist. I won't talk about what outlet you work at or any of that crap now, because I know you told me on Twitter, I think. Here's the thing. Like, I don't care, I've been doing journalism for 20 years. I don't have a degree. And I can write just as well, and I can report just as well as pretty much all of the journalists you see at IGN, GameSpot, anywhere else. I can do what they do, and I don't have a degree. Because the degree won't really help me do what they do. It might teach you certain things about ethics, but then those rules aren't really followed in the workplace. Because what they don't really address properly in college, from what I have, I was in a journalism degree at one point. What they don't address properly is that when you're at an outlet, the number one most important thing when you're working in journalism is eyeballs. Eyeballs. If you don't have viewers, you don't have a job. Without viewers, without readers, there's no job. So when it becomes that the most important thing is having eyeballs, the ethics of the situation don't really matter, because ethics don't get you viewers. As an example, it could be argued some of the videos I make on gaming rumors, you shouldn't make that video. I mean, I think it's still interesting to talk about it, but shouldn't make that video. Shouldn't make that. You know this rumor's fake. You shouldn't make that video. And yeah, according to ethics, you shouldn't make that video. I should make a video on, let me see, I'm going to go grab a random thing right now. That's a factual thing happening. I should, instead of making a video on a random 4chan rumor leak that we know is fake, but it's fun to talk about. It'll probably get 4,000 to 8,000 views. Even though you state in the video quite clearly that it's probably fake, it's still just fun to talk about. You're going to get a lot of views on that. Or I could talk about Niantic CEO gives us a look at potential AR glasses. We don't even know that they're AR glasses. So they give us there was a thing put up, look into the future, and then they show like a little tiny peek at what appears to possibly be glasses, but we're not sure. The image isn't fully there. I think it's nice speculation to think it's AR glasses. But here's the thing. I could put that out there and there's going to be hardly any views. You can go from 8,000 views on some random 4chan thing is fake, but will generate interest and is a little bit fun to talk about, to be honest. Or you could talk about this boring image by Niantic that you have no details on, and you're just guessing. And it doesn't even sound super exciting on the surface. What's going to generate more clicks? What's going to generate more views? Well, they're clearly going to want you to cover the 4chan thing. Now, I wouldn't say that IGNs and outlets like that are going as far as to cover 4chan, but they'll find things. They'll find things to talk about. In fact, I have one more thing I want to make a video on today, but actually I think it's kind of interesting. But here's the thing. I cover things I find that are interesting. Whether or not the rumor is true or not, almost I hate saying it, it's almost like irrelevant to me and to many other YouTubers. Like HMK did a video. God, I love HMK, man. He's so awesome. I've known that guy for so long. Can't wait to have him back on the podcast. He's such a cool dude. So looking at a video he did recently. Let me see here. He did a video on, where is it? Oh yeah, Nintendo Direct leaked for April. Breath of the Wild 2 name and a huge Metroid blowout. Now, it's a 4chan rumor. And in the very beginning of the video, he goes, yeah, this is likely all bullshit. He just straight up says, everything I'm about to cover is probably bullshit. But damn, is it fun. Damn, is it hype. If this stuff was true, this is the hypest of the hypest of the hype. And yeah, I'll probably make a video on it eventually. Because I actually thought it was kind of interesting too. Is it fake? 1,000%. But is it fun as fuck to talk about? Fun as hell to dream? Absolutely. And what do you get? 14,000 views. 94% like to dislike ratio. On something that he tells the audience is probably fake. But man, was it fun. And he had a lot of fun talking about it. Then, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis will be free to play. Only 9,000 views. It's a factual bit of information. It's real news. The interest level only got him about 8,800 views, but he got 14,000 talking about something that is clearly fake. Does that make him a shit YouTuber? Because he threw ethics out the window? I don't think so. One, I don't think YouTubers are journalists. Yeah, we report on stuff, so you can argue there's some journalism there, but I also think YouTubers' number one job is to entertain. When I think of journalism, when I think of journalism, I'm going to like if I want like actual news, I go to ESPN, like sports news, ESPN, CBS Sports, Yahoo Sports, etc. When I want my sports news. Sometimes there's certain people on Twitter that are journalists that will tweet things out for news as well. When I think about like I want to be entertained with sporting stuff, I go to Twitter. I go to YouTube and I watch sports videos that talk about the news because they're just given or talk about. I mean, think about how much of sports entertainment is just literally speculation. Who's going to win MVP? of the NBA. How many times does that conversation come up every fucking day on sports stuff? Because it's entertaining. You know, talking about trade machines and potential trades that are absolutely fake and have no backing and likely are never going to come true. But you'll hear talks about it every single day because it's entertaining. So yeah, this potential leak that's awesome and great and so amazing, it's fake as fuck. But damn, is it fun to talk about. So I kind of liken it to the way sports stuff works. There's a difference between news and reporting, and a difference between like speculation and fun conversations. And yeah, they intermingle sometimes. And that kind of muddles the water. But when you're a YouTuber, your number one job is to entertain. I'm streaming, hoping that you're entertained by this stream. Maybe you're not. Maybe you think I'm a bullshit streamer and bullshit content creator, and it's fine. You know, whatever. I just make the content I want to make. I actually have 2 really interesting videos I want to make. I'll probably make one of them today. The other one, we'll see. I'm not really on a time limit with the other one's relevancy. This other one, I don't know. Anyways, I got multiple ideas rolling around in my head. I just have to get to them. Hey, is the Switch HDMI cable 2.0? Probably not. It doesn't need to be. The Switch only does. Switch doesn't even output a 2.0 signal. It's probably 1.4. I would assume it's a 1.4 HDMI cable. I can't confirm right now. I could take the HDMI cable from my Switch and plug it into the PlayStation 5 and hook it up to the TV and see. Because there'll be limitations. If it's not 2.0, there'll be limitations if it's not 2.1. But 2.0 can still technically do 4K 60. So if it's 1.4 can't do 4K 60. So if I plug in the Switch cable into my PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X and plug it into my TV, I should be able to tell right away if it's at least 2.0. It won't be 2.1 for sure. But I'm guessing it's 1.4. They have no reason to put a 2.0 cable unless they just don't make 1.4s anymore, it's entirely possible they don't make 1.4 cables. But I have no idea. Technically, the Switch doesn't need a 2.0 cable. It would work with a 1.4. School should teach you basic economics, how to get a loan, I don't think school should teach people how to get loans and how to manage credit. I disagree with that. I think what school could do, teach you how to balance a fucking checkbook. How about instead of worrying about borrowed money, how about learn how to manage the money you're not borrowing? I don't think it's a school's job to teach you about money management with money that you borrow. I think you need to first learn how to deal with the money you get in the first place and how to budget. I think it's a fine line between, I feel like, what schools should do and what parents should be doing. Parents, I think, utterly fail at teaching kids how to manage money most of the time. Probably because the parents are too worried about managing their own money to bother to teach the kid how to manage theirs. So some of that's just because, hey, parents have a billion other responsibilities to worry about before they worry about teaching their kid, how to manage money. One thing I'm trying to do with my kids is when they are old enough to have a job, hey, you want a cell phone? You're paying the bill. You have a job, you're paying the bill. So you want to keep that cell phone turned on, you better pay the bill. Now, am I going to wait for them to give me the check to pay the cell phone bill? Of course not. I'm going to pay the cell phone bill, but I'll shut their fucking phone off if they don't give me the $45 a month. Because I got to teach them fiscal responsibility, prioritizing. What's more important, that you go to that movie or your bill's paid? What's more important, that you go buy that fucking, 4 ounces of fucking weed? Or your bill's fucking paid? What's more important? That you're the cool kid who bought his girl a promise ring that's going to break up with you in a week? Or that your fucking bill is paid? I'm going to work on fiscal responsibility with my kids as they get to a point where they are making their own money. Yes, of course they're going to be able to spend money and have fun. I'm not going to make them dedicate every fucking dollar they make to not enjoying their teenage life. Like, Jesus Christ, of course they can enjoy their teenage years. They're working, they're making a few $100 a month. Fucking enjoy. Use some of it for fun. But you will have some responsibility to kind of get you ready for when mom and daddy aren't there to pay all your bills anymore. You know you got to prioritize paying your cell phone, paying your rent, paying your electric before you start having fun. Yeah, 4 ounces is a quarter pound. So that's quite a bit for like $45. Unless it's like the really cheap shit that was like mixed in with some fucking oregano. I don't know why I'm even talking about this shit. Yeah, I grew up. I know people to get drugs from. I don't do that shit, but I'm just saying that like I know there's a massive difference in the weed world between good shit and like the really cheap weed, the skunk weed that's just mixed with a bunch of shit. And that's why it's so fucking cheap. But I don't really smoke weed. It doesn't really do much for me. Nah, you aren't crap, bro. If you were, I wouldn't be here. It's eyeballs, like you said, and YouTube has been awful at getting eyeballs where they need to be lately. YouTube also has a controlling aspect to it. Because YouTube as a platform obviously has their own rules and their own way they govern things and things that you are okay talking about, things you aren't. Like, I don't want to dive too deep into this, but like Steven Crowder got permanently demonetized and banned from his main channel for a week. Because of a video he made a while ago, a little bit ago, I guess it wasn't too long ago, where he talked about voter fraud. And he never claimed that Donald Trump won the election. He never claimed that there was widespread voter fraud. He just wanted to prove that voter fraud does technically exist, because the narrative in politics right now, is, especially from Democrats, is that voter fraud doesn't exist. Which is kind of a bold claim to say there's literally no voter fraud anywhere ever. So what he did is he had some of his people go to election areas and got some of the addresses on some of the ballots and went to some of those addresses to find out the addresses are fake, proving that there was voter fraud. No, he never said it's widespread. He never said it would have changed the results of the election. He never tried to make all these kind of claims that Donald Trump did. He just had a video where he showed, yeah, you know what, there is some voter fraud going on. That the elections could be more secure. There could be more security measures in place with elections to prevent fake addresses that clearly are for fake ballots. Right? Like there's some states that don't require you to have ID. That's a big controversy in Georgia right now because something passed that requires ID to vote. But the prime example of having a fake address, because you're not actually, maybe it's a homeless person who did it. I have no idea. I'm just pointing out that it's kind of suspicious. It's kind of sus, right? So he got demonetized and banned because YouTube changed the rules. Originally, you could talk about individual cases of voter fraud. What you couldn't talk about was voter fraud being you were not allowed to say that Donald Trump lost the election due to voter fraud and that there's widespread voter fraud, but you were allowed, per YouTube's rules, to talk about individual voter fraud cases. That's what his video did. YouTube changed its rules, and now that video got demonetized. It's a whole thing. So YouTube's got this whole total. And by the way, I'm not saying that you need to like Steven Crowder, by the way. The guy really talks about a lot of controversial shit and really blurs the line between comedy and seriousness and Republicans. And I'm not going down that rabbit hole. What I'm trying to just point out is that, technically what he did shouldn't have been a problem with anybody. But YouTube has its own set of rules. So there's that you got to navigate too out in the world now. Like any platform you're on, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, wherever the hell you are. They all are technically not public domain. We have a freedom of speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want. But that freedom of speech doesn't extend to private entities. Businesses, you can't go into your job and just say whatever you want and expect to keep your job. That's not how it works. So, and the problem we have with YouTube is obviously so many people get their news and their reports from YouTube that it's kind of okay, and social media in general, that it's if they can control what you hear and what you can talk about, how well informed are the people? That's kind of been, I would say, a conservative sticking point with a lot of social media websites right now. It's like, well, if you're picking and choosing what people are allowed to talk about, are you being fair? Like, how are people supposed to be fully informed? Well, we're preventing the spread of misinformation. It is what it is. And because I say shit like that, that's why YouTube will shut down my channel someday. By the way, I'm not Republican. I listen to people on all sides of every aisle there is. From the left to the right to the center to libertarian. Dude, I listen to freaking a lot of political shit. I am not anything. I have not voted Democrat or Republican in a hell of a long time. I have been voting for independents for quite some time from multiple different parties. I think there might have been one Democrat governor election that I did vote Democrat like 6 years ago or something. But it was because I felt like that person was literally the best person for the job. It wasn't because they were Democrat. It's because of their policies and the things they were trying to change. That I thought they were the best for my hometown. So that's what I voted for. But I don't really base my vote on if you're Democrat or Republican. Just, hey, it's whoever I feel is the best person for the job. But I do see a lot of interesting things happening where there's a lot of silencing going on. That I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, YouTube did it to my channel. When I was just talking about fucking video games. They silenced my channel. So, gotta be careful what I say about video games, too. Finally, a live stream gamer that has the guts to talk about politics. No. Okay, so, hold on. Let's take a tea. Here. We're not really talking about politics, okay? I don't talk about politics on my channel. The reason I don't talk about politics is because it's really controversial. It starts a lot of arguments. But I will talk about some bias that happens because of politics. Happens in gaming, happens everywhere. It's ingrained in society. It happens. There's a lot of bias. Like right now, if you are an internet person, you're an you almost like say you're a conservative. Say like let's say beat 'em ups is conservative. I don't know what he is. Don't know what he votes for. But let's say that he's conservative. He considers himself a Republican. You know how scary it would have to be for someone like him to ever have it come out publicly that he is? Again, I don't know what he is. But I'm just saying that, like, you know how scary it would have to be? Someone in his position to be like, oh, I'm Republican. Just by associating as a Republican is like this big cardinal sin on social media right now. Like, if you are Republican, you are Donald Trump and the scum of the earth. Like that, it's so weird. Like the narrative that's getting painted that Republicans are evil douchebags because Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Same thing, by the way, Republicans that try to paint Democrats as pieces of shit as well. Kind of goes both ways. But it's just funny. It's just funny to me. Like, oh, you're a Democrat, you're a piece of shit. Oh, you're a Republican, you're a piece of shit. They can't just be like, oh, why? What policies do you it never really becomes about the policies, right? It's about you're a fucking racist piece of shit. Like, being a Republican doesn't mean you're racist. Being a Democrat doesn't mean you're racist. Like, that's not actually like a political argument. You can try to argue Donald Trump's racist, and that's fine, but that doesn't make every Republican racist. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of... Politics are kind of a sticky thing. That's why we don't talk about it. That's what I said. Politics are just a sticky thing. But when I say, that we don't talk about it, I mean, we don't talk about who we're voting for. We don't talk about, what you should believe. I'm not here to convince you to be anything. But will I bring up when there's censorship that seems to be involved because of someone's political stance? Like I said, I brought up Steven Crowder because there's censorship happening, seemingly, because of his political leanings. And I don't think that's right. It'd be different. Like, Trump's banning was a lot different. Because there's a belief that he incited riots. Like, it's a little bit different, if like Steven Crowder was out there inciting riots, it's a little different. But just having an opinion, you shouldn't really, I think there's a lot of power with social media. And I don't always like the control that's involved with it. But hey, whatever. I talk about video games, man. So I don't have to worry about it too much. But every now and then politics seeps into video games. Then it's just kind of like, oh, man. Oh, shit. My channel's going to get fucking shut down. No! Nintendo Q, you're trying to convince us that Crowder is being canceled. No, I just disagree with YouTube's decision to not allow him to point out individual cases of voter fraud. That's why he was banned. YouTube is in the right to make any decision they want for any reason they want. It's their platform. But I do disagree that he can't show individual cases of voter fraud. That's all. It's just a disagreement. It's called an opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. Your mods wrote a guy for having an opinion on the Xbox presser, right? Silence people all the time. You can think what you want, man. I'm assuming, Nintendo Q, that you are that person that got thrown out. People get thrown out when they incite arguments with me that are basically just if you're annoying me. That's kind of probably what happened with this Crowder thing. They were probably just annoying some YouTube staff, so they threw him out. So don't annoy me. Pretty simple. I don't want to deal with that bullshit. So don't annoy me. My mods just try to make it so I don't have to deal with bullshit. My father taught high school history and government for 40 years, and he even had a chance to run for state representative once in my family. So politics is it's a very complex, massive subject, and I am far and away not an expert. So I don't even consider myself a video game expert, and I talk about that stuff. Chad is more than welcome to have an opinion. I actually said this during the live streams. You don't have to like the Xbox presser. But what you can't do is accuse me. See, here's what happened. Here's the facts of the situation. So here's what happened with that situation. So, user had an opinion. User Wolf something had an opinion that the Xbox presser was horrible, which was fine. That opinion didn't bother me. But then tried to argue that I'm defending the Xbox presser and don't actually enjoy it, and started mocking me. So think about what happened. User says, I don't like the Xbox presser. They're still here. They weren't kicked. Then they start saying that I'm pretending I like the Xbox presser. That I'm pretending to like the event. So an accusation gets thrown at me that I'm faking it. What do you think's going to happen when you throw out an accusation? Now, look, it might be your opinion that I'm faking it, but you're talking directly to the person doing it. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think you're just going to be welcomed with open arms to continue to keep accusing that person of something that that person doesn't believe they're doing? And then you come back with multiple accounts, which, by the way, that is something we don't allow on our channel, is people using multiple accounts. But then you come back on multiple accounts and begin to mock the content creator more and more and more. Because one thing we don't allow on our channel is the attacking of other users, including myself. So if you come on my stuff and you start mocking me, what the fuck do you think's going to happen? Yeah, YouTube removed Crowder probably because it annoyed some YouTube videos. They didn't permanently remove him, by the way. He'll be back next week or something. I think I don't know. I think his ban, I think it's only a 1 week temporary ban. But and we tried to let the user come back. And then the user continued to say things that, whether the user knew it or not, were still a bit mocking of the whole situation. Trying to claim things that aren't true, that you can't have an opinion, you can't have a negative opinion. Of course you can. But you can't mock the content creator. It's pretty simple. And that's why I assume you're the same person. I'm sure Crowder's mocked YouTube. I have no fucking idea. I don't watch his show. The only thing of Crowder's I've ever seen is like the Change My Mind series. I've talked about it one other time. It's like the only thing. I don't watch any. I think he streams, right? Doesn't he do like a daily news show? I don't watch his shit. I don't know anything really about the guy other than that he's obviously conservative, and he does that Change My Mind series that takes a lot of conservative viewpoints and then tries to argue them logically with people who disagree. I don't really know anything about the guy. I don't watch his content. I don't know any of the shit he says. I just know that he's calls himself a comedian. I don't know if he is one. Beats me. I don't know anything about him. I shouldn't say anything. I don't know much about him. I just know I like his Change My Mind series. That's it. Nintendo Q, you are so clearly that wolf person. It's hilarious. So I'm just going to ignore you. You mocked me. It's not a hypocrite to block someone who's mocking me. I never said YouTube can't do what they're doing. I don't agree with it. I can get rid of you, and you cannot agree with it. It doesn't really matter. Get over it. Stop being butthurt. I'm not sitting here making a bunch of videos defending Crowder, am I? Psh. Don't give a shit. He's a big boy. He can fight his own fights. I love your channel. All the Nintendo news. Zelda 35. Adam Butters! $2 make you howl. I'm just going to take a swig. Yeah. I love your. Let's see here. Either Nintendo fans don't know what they want, or Nintendo doesn't know how to give it to them. Just look at the part in Wind Waker where you have to search for the parts of the Triforce. The fans wanted it, and Nintendo gave it to them, but it only turned out to be shitty part of a great game. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me reread that. Either Nintendo fans don't know what they want, or Nintendo doesn't know how to give it to them. Okay, just look at the part in the Wind Waker where you have to search for the parts of the Triforce. The fans wanted it, and Nintendo gave it to them. Only turned out to be a shitty... Whoa, my beer just spilt all over the place. Where's my... paper towel? 1 second, I gotta grab some paper towel. It, like, exploded all over the desk. Maybe I slammed the beer down. I probably slammed the beer bottle down too much, so I did that little fizzy thing that happens, you know? Like if you take something and you slam the top of a beer bottle. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't know. Maybe you're too young to drink beer, but it's a thing that can happen. You can make beer kind of explode like a volcano. Used to be something I'd do to people, friends at the bar when I was younger. So I probably just slammed it down too hard. So it decided to fizz up. Anyways, I did drink, Adam. I don't think fans wanted the Triforce hunt. I think you might have some revisionist history there. The Triforce hunt replaced dungeons. There were supposed to be dungeons. There were cut dungeons in the Wind Waker that ended up getting used in Twilight Princess. But that Triforce hunting quest was a dungeon replacement, because what happened is, in playtesting the game, people got to that part of the game, and that part of the game wasn't there. The game felt too short. So Nintendo added in the Triforce quest to make the game longer. Fans didn't ask for that Triforce quest. In fact, fans didn't ask for Wind Waker in general. Wind Waker was panned. Fans didn't want it. When they showed the Wind Waker, it got hated on like a motherfucker. Fans hated Wind Waker. Hated it. And at the time, it was the worst selling 3D Zelda game. It didn't sell well. Fans didn't want it. Now, in hindsight, do people enjoy it? Yeah. But back in the day, Dude, that game was shit on the moment it was shown. Nobody wanted that kind of Zelda. They wanted the Space World 2000 Zelda that was shown off. You know, they wanted what we eventually got with Twilight Princess, which is why Twilight Princess massively outsold Wind Waker. Fans didn't want Wind Waker in general, so that Triforce Hunting Quest was just a dungeon replacement, and fans didn't like it. They didn't want it. They didn't want Wind Waker in general. Now, hindsight, fans love Wind Waker and they respect Wind Waker now, but like at the time, fans are like whatever, and that's where, you know, fans don't know what they want till they have it. Fans thought they would hate Wind Waker, and then they played it, and it turns out a lot of people actually really enjoyed Wind Waker. But I love when Nintendo Q is like, you know, I'm right, that's why you don't make a response, when I've literally spent like 6 minutes responding directly to him. The irony. All right. Talk about Zelda. Fuck this shit. Nintendo is overpricing games, failing to fix hardware issues, and refusing to take action. I wouldn't say they're refusing to take action. They are. What are your points for Nintendo being consumer friendly? I never said that Nintendo was consumer friendly. Who said Nintendo's consumer friendly? I never said Nintendo's consumer friendly. I literally never said that. You're putting words in my mouth. All these companies are for-profit companies. Let's be clear here. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft make every decision they do to make the most money. Right now, Game Pass is technically something that loses money, but Microsoft is going for the long haul. Hey, in 30 years, we're going to be making billions and billions off of Game Pass. They're looking at forego short-term profits for even greater profits long haul. So even the decisions with Game Pass that makes them lose money right now are actually done with the intention to make a lot of money later. So all these companies are just doing what they have to do to make the most amount of money possible. So Nintendo, yeah, they have a hardware problem. Joy-Con drift is real. They're not fixing it. They are offering free repairs in the United States and some other countries, but they're not fixing it. Why? I don't know. Could be lawsuit reasons. Could be, because they're waiting for a bunch of pending lawsuits right now. Could be because they have a revision in the works with the Switch Pro that fixes it. I have no idea. No clue. Nintendo hasn't fixed it. They're refusing to fix it. The PlayStation 5 controller, the gear that makes the sticks, the bumpers work and have those adaptive triggers or whatever they're called. It's made out of plastic. Many people have already broken it by playing Call of Duty. So it's not designed well. Works really, really cool, but then it's easy to break because it's a plastic gear. A plastic spindle gear. Oh, and by the way, PlayStation 5 controllers also have drift. There's actually a lawsuit, 2 of them going on right now over PlayStation 5 drift. Sony's not doing anything about it. The point I make in bringing up Sony and the Nintendo comparison isn't to mock Sony or mock Nintendo. It's because none of these companies are our friends. These companies are just for-profit businesses trying to make as much money as they can, hoping that enough people are satisfied with their products along the way to keep buying them. So when you talk about, say, the overpricing of games, the overpricing, again, is a subjective nature. You could say Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser Fury is overpriced. That's your opinion. But, 10, 15 million other people that bought it clearly didn't think it was overpriced. Like, pricing on anything is determined by the market. If you overprice something, the market won't pay for it. If you price something a certain way and it sells at that price, that means that Nintendo valued it correctly. Pricing is very much a supply and demand, a market issue. Okay? So anytime we talk about Nintendo overpricing things, it's all your personal opinion is that game wasn't worth $60 or that port wasn't worth $60. But your opinion has nothing to do with business. Business is all about pricing things where the market will bear. If something is factually overpriced in the market, it won't sell. That's how it works. When a product is overpriced, it doesn't sell. PlayStation 3 at launch was overpriced and had horrible sales. It was overpriced for consumer demand. It wasn't overpriced for how much the components cost. It was overpriced for the marketplace it was in. So consumers didn't buy it, and it fell way behind the Xbox 360, and it took revisions and price cuts to come back. So I am always very careful with games are overpriced thing, because I realize that pricing has to do with supply and demand and what the market will bear. If the market's willing to pay $60 for it, it can't say it's overpriced. You could say that you don't feel it's as valuable as another $60 product. Is Link's Awakening, the remake of Link's Awakening at $60 as valuable as Breath of the Wild at $60? In most people's opinions, Breath of the Wild is more valuable. But is the market still buying it in enough quantities to justify the price point? Yup. So then Nintendo would be leaving money on the table to release these games at lower prices. Now, there's obviously a different strategy. You can go like the old, the old NFL 2K. You had Madden coming out at $50, $60 a year, and then NFL 2K comes along and says, hey, we're going to release a product that's just as good but only charge $20. And they went for the, boom, we're going to undercut you strategy. That's a strategy that works as well, releasing really good games for cheap prices. You can also obviously talk about how, Sony charges $40 for this remaster, or they bundle this, and there's new content, and there's more work. You're right. None of that's incorrect. Spyro Reignited Trilogy had way more work put into it. Crash Bandicoot Trilogy had way more work put into it than some of these Wii U ports. You are absolutely right. You are 1,000% correct. And they were cheaper. Also correct. And what's that have to do with value? Value is determined by the consumer. Those games, even as bundles, weren't considered as valuable by the consumer as a $60 Mario port. A $60 Mario port outsold the combined sales of Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, Insane Trilogy across all platforms. One Wii U Mario port outsold the combined trilogy at $40 a pop. Why? Because consumers value that individual game more than they value that trilogy. That's the hard part. We've talked about this before with consumer demand and pricing strategies from Nintendo. I'm not defending Nintendo in terms of, as a consumer, I would like to see them bring the price down. Absolutely. I think Wii U ports should be $40 max. But the market determines that Nintendo can charge more. If the games didn't sell at $60, Nintendo would stop charging $60. Thank you so much, Clayton Miller. $10 super chat. Shout out, man. It sadly looked like the default create a character in most sports game. Where is Mario Galaxy 2? I sadly look at the default create a character in most... What? I don't know what you mean there, but I understand the hashtag where is Mario Galaxy 2. Galaxy 2, baby. I talked about that, man. I talked about at length that, man, it sucks that Galaxy 2 was not part of 3D All-Stars. It's like having an Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker collection, but not including Majora's Mask. It's like, what? What? I mean, I don't know that Nintendo's going to do that collection, but I'm saying it's like if they had their own Zelda 3D All-Star collection, they left a sequel out like that. Turtle says, I mean, $40 isn't really a devalue for the games. I think they would do good at that price. I'm not saying the games wouldn't do good at $40. I don't think anyone's saying the games wouldn't do good if they were cheaper. But Nintendo would also be leaving money on the table. You got to remember, pricing is based on market demand. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, can we all admit that game is not a $60 game? You're playing 3 games that are 15 plus years old, emulated. Is it really worth $60? I think we can all say, from a value perspective, that's not a very good quote-unquote value. Especially if you can compare it to all other trilogy collections out there and the amount of work they had done for cheaper. I think we can all agree, yeah, Nintendo was pretty lazy and they charged $60. But what happened? 10 million sales later, clearly Nintendo knew what the hell they were doing and maximized their IP and made a shitload more money than all those other trilogies did. Also, there's a psychology involved. Now, you can argue this is Nintendo being shitty as a company, but there's a psychology involved. When you charge $60 for a game, right? So there's a $60 expectation in the marketplace. Sony's trying to make it be $70, but there's a $60 expectation in the marketplace that brand new AAA games are going to be $60. So when you port over, say, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and you charge $60 for it, okay? A lot of people don't know what Pikmin 3 is because it came out on a system that hardly anyone owned. Because you have a system with 85 million sales. You have a system that had 13 million sales total with a franchise that isn't that popular. Most people that own Switch have no fucking clue what Pikmin is, let alone Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So they go to Walmart and they see Pikmin 3 Deluxe in the new release section listed for $59.99. Well, at Walmart, it would be $49.99. So let's say Best Buy or GameStop. They go there and it's listed at $59.99. And it's listed in the new release section. You know what they think? This is a brand new game released for Switch. Now, Nintendo isn't advertising it that way. And it technically is a new release for Switch. But it's not a new game. But the psychology hits in. This must be a new exclusive game for Switch because it's $60. Suddenly, you're more than willing to spend that $60. Because you don't know any better as a consumer. You are an uneducated consumer. So Nintendo kind of sort of takes advantage of you. Now, Nintendo never advertises it that way, but they realize that people buying new games, parents buying new games, they're not looking at the history of franchises and Google searching and digging into shit. They go, new Switch games, and the latest releases pop up, and the latest releases are a Wii U port for $60, and it's a Mario game. Fuck it. My kids like Mario. Let's buy them this game. They like Mario Odyssey. Let's buy him U Deluxe. Let's buy him. 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. $60. Nintendo knows it. They created an expectation that every game that comes out is going to be $60. They created they basically created a market strategy that I think almost every console manufacturer wishes they could go back in time and do. Nintendo has created a market expectation that no matter what, we're charging $60, which isn't always true. Sometimes they do charge $40, but for the most part, they charge $60. And they've created a market expectation for it. So is it consumer friendly? Of course it's not. But is it business friendly? Absolutely. Nintendo is not generally a consumer friendly company. So then why do they have so many consumers? Because people love their fucking games. You don't have to be consumer friendly to make good games. That's the real butt end of it. Why do so many of us play Nintendo games? Because we like the fucking games. Like, as an example, spent $60 on 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I freaking love 3D World. I had a blast playing 3D World just 2 days ago with my kids. I was playing Super Mario 3D World with my kids. I was playing Bowser's Fury with Eric the other day. Like, I'm having a blast playing this game. Do I think it should be $60? No. But do I regret the purchase at $60? Also no. Because I enjoy the game that much. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Yeah, probably should be cheaper. But you know what? It's still just as good of a game at $60 as it is at $40. The quality of the game doesn't change. It's still a damn good game. Like, that's the thing. Nintendo has such loyal consumers like myself who end up, hypocritically spending $60 when you don't think things should be charged that price because the games are so fucking good. The games are just great. Ironically, the one thing I probably regret buying was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It's not like every purchase I buy, I don't have, buyer's remorse. But I don't think like there's anything that is particularly consumer friendly about any of the companies. You get free games. They're just encouraging people to subscribe to their service. It's not free. You're paying money to access those games. That's not free. Free is free. You give them nothing, they give you something. Having to subscribe to a service is not free. So every time I say, oh man, you see these PlayStation Plus games? Look how amazing. You're right. They're giving you really good games to encourage more people to subscribe to PlayStation Plus. There's a reason. They're not just giving you those games out of the kindness of their heart. They're pumping up subscribers to their service that makes them more money. It's all money driven. None of it is driven by we're just being nice. That's not how it works. These are all for-profit companies. Everything they do, somewhere in that chain, has a goal of making money. So yeah, they give you these games. Those games aren't selling anymore. People aren't buying them anymore. Newsflash: when they give you a Final Fantasy VII Remake through PlayStation Plus, nobody's buying Final Fantasy VII Remake anymore. The sales are done. So they're giving you something that nobody's buying to encourage people that would not have bought the game otherwise to pay, $15 a month and get their subscription service. You see what they're doing? They're giving you something that doesn't really have that much value in the marketplace anymore to encourage you to spend more money than you were going to spend without it, because you weren't going to buy those games anyways. You see what I'm saying? Like it's all manipulation to get people to spend money. That's what it's all about. Is it wrong? I don't think it's wrong. I don't want to say it's wrong. It's just different strategies to make money. I take advantage of PlayStation Plus. I take advantage of Game Pass. I have Nintendo Switch Online, which, I don't agree with having multiplayer locked behind online and all that. But, what am I going to do? I like playing Mario Kart multiplayer. I like playing Splatoon 2 multiplayer too much to just not be able to do it when it's only $20 a year out of my pocket. I don't like that it's locked behind an online service, but at the same point, I want to play these games online, and $20 to me, you know what? It's like a fart in the wind. Doesn't even fill up half a gas tank for me. Fuck it. I could take $20 out of my pocket per year and just, pay it so I can play the games I want online the way I want to play them. It's the reality of the marketplace. I could boycott it, but my desire to play the games outweighs my desire to boycott. Because the games are good. The games are too fucking good. And the same thing's true right now. I'm playing a lot of games on PlayStation right now because I didn't really play PlayStation 4. So I have a bunch. I have like Final Fantasy 7 downloaded. I might be going to that next, the remake. I've never played Final Fantasy 7, by the way. So the remake should be, it's like a brand new game experience for me. It's going to be great. But right now I'm finishing up Miles Morales. I didn't even play the original Spider-Man. I do have it on here. I might go Miles Morales, then go back to the original Spider-Man, then do either God of War or Final Fantasy VII Remake yet. I don't know yet. I'm enjoying going through that library right now and stuff like that. Like I just all these companies are just trying to make money. None of them are consumer friendly. It's funny, like when people say like, "Oh, AMD is consumer friendly. Look at the prices on their CPUs," and it's like, they didn't price it there to be consumer friendly. They priced it there to get people to buy their product over somebody else's product. They're not trying to be consumer friendly. They're trying to make you feel like it's consumer friendly. So you spend money on them and not the competition. That's the reality. They're not going to say that. They're going to come out and be like, "Oh, we're selling you this. Why does Switch Lite cost $200?" No, we're not telling you that we're charging $200 so we could get more people to buy Switches so they spend more money on video games. No. We don't want to tell you that. We want you to think, "Oh, we're giving you an option. If you've ever wanted a smaller Switch that's more pocketable, here you go." That's why it's worth $200. Not that we're trying to just sell the same SoC and a cheaper form factor and make more money off of you. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, no. You want something that fits in your pocket. It's cheap for your kids. Here you go. But reality is, it's all with the goal to sell more games. And it's digital only, right? So you have a physical copy. Well, no, it's not digital only. Sorry, no, you can use physical games with Switch Lite. I was getting confused with PSP Go for a second. PSP Go was digital only. I had so many damn handhelds out there, even though PSP was a while ago. 7 Remake's pretty good. That's what I've heard. I've never played Final Fantasy 7. I played Final Fantasy 8 on PC back in the day, but I never played Final Fantasy 7. I played Final Fantasy 1 through 5. I think I tried 6 when I was a kid, but I didn't beat it. Never played 7. Played 8. I really enjoyed 8 on PC. Then I didn't really play again until Final Fantasy 12. Enjoyed that on my friend's system, who I lived with at the time. And then I haven't really played Final Fantasy since 12. I just don't have the kind of time I had when I was younger, too. I used to have time to dabble, have multiple games playing at the same time that you're sinking hundreds and thousands of hours in. I don't have that kind of time now, so I have to be very picky and choosy on what games I dive into and when. Everyone's like, love your videos. Never get a chance to comment. Been here the whole time, but been at work. Hey, that happens, man. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Play the remake. I just started chapter 2, but Final Fantasy 7 R is pretty good. Talk about free melee, please. I don't really have anything to say about free melee. I've talked about it before. I understand why Nintendo shut it down. It's basically about that tournament. They shut down because they were using modded versions of Melee, which means they're using ROMs and illegal copies of Melee in order to play online to have the tournament because they can't do the tournament in person. I understand why Nintendo shut it down because Nintendo is very anti-ROM. But I also understand why, in the midst of COVID, maybe you should let it go and just not do anything about it. I don't think Nintendo cares. They clearly don't because the free Melee movement got a whole bunch of attention and Nintendo's done nothing. Then again, Nintendo's never really supported the Smash community that well, so, or at least the competitive community, so I'm not really sure why we're surprised. They're just doing what they've always done. They've shut down multiple Melee tournaments over the years. They've shut down Smash Ultimate tournaments. They've shut down their own Smash Ultimate tournaments. Like, they're really... Why are we surprised? Nintendo doesn't give a shit about competitive Smash. Period. So there you go. I mean, what more do you want me to say? They just don't care. We can't make them care. We can't make Nintendo care about something they don't care about. And the competitive Smash community, as big as it might seem, it's really minuscule compared to the total amount of people that play Smash. So they really don't care if they piss off that competitive Smash community because they make up a minute fraction of the amount of people that buy Smash Bros. Competitive Smash just isn't a big deal to Nintendo. They'll pretend it is at times, of course, because they want to try to, especially when they're marketing the game, they want to try to, appease everyone. But in the end, their true colors always come out. They don't care about competitive Smash. They're probably never going to care about competitive Smash. Mudaha from SOG. I don't know what you're talking about, Merlin Starhogs. I don't know what we're talking about there. I'm not sure what you're referencing. What do I think of the Age of Calamity DLC will be about? I have no idea, man. I'm just as... I thought we had everything we needed to story-wise. I don't know if they're going to add any more story. It might just be gameplay segments. It might not even be... Well, no, I think they did mention there was going to be some story elements. I have no idea. I'm excited for it because I want more story. So diving into more story sounds like a good idea. Samantha, yes, I got the pack of gum. You mean the random pack of gum that you and your husband sent to my house? Talk about a really weird Amazon. I'm like, why? Okay, so I get packages because we've been like upgrading the new camera, a bunch of stuff for the studio. But I get this package in this like bubble wrap envelope, and I'm like, what the hell did I order that's in this? I rip it open, and I'm like, a pack of gum. I don't buy gum on Amazon. What the fuck? Then I look at who it's from, and I'm like, it must have been like that one stream when my kid wanted gum, or I can't remember. There was something that I remember there was a stream I did about some gum, and I didn't have any, or whatever it was. And I'm like, you guys are always watching. I swear, you guys catch every minute thing. And that's why you spent, like, what, $3 on some gum? Well, I don't know what you spent. I hope you didn't have to pay for shipping. Paying for shipping's the worst. Like, especially when it's just a single pack of gum. You'll pay more for shipping than the actual gum. Just wanted to be sure it arrived. We were going to wait, but we figured you'd need it. The gum has been used. I don't think it's all gone. I think it's on that desk right there, actually. Yeah, I see it. I've had a few pieces of it. It's not all gone. But let me see here. Yeah, I think AOC DLC is just going to be playable characters and some more. Who knows? I mean, they mentioned something about story, but we'll see. Do you think future Nintendo Switch will support 5G? Nope. I don't think Nintendo has any interest in working with cell phone companies. So no. He breathes so. I'm really close to the mic, so you can hear even my normal breathing. It can sound really loud. I'm drinking on a random Tuesday. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Someone just making fun of me for having some drinks. I mean, I haven't even had half a beer. When this stream ends, the rest of this beer is just going to get dumped out. But sure. Kill a guy for having a few sips of beer on a Tuesday. Who gives a shit? Living my life. You live yours, man. 35. I'm not really concerned what day of the fucking week it is when I have some beer. What should I do to get Nate to understand what I meant? Oh, Kringling. I know you weren't talking to me. Chill. You don't need anyone else to explain it to you. I talked about the consumer-friendly thing because I saw you talking about it in the chat. I know I initially said, are you calling me consumer-friendly? I read everything you said. You weren't talking about me. You were talking about a different user. I can't remember. You added him earlier. You were talking about a different user. You were going back and forth with a different user that talked about it. I was just expounding upon that conversation and noting that, hey, I don't think any of these companies are consumer-friendly, so what the fuck are we even talking about consumer-friendliness for? I don't think consumer friendliness exists with for-profit companies. Even when they do something that seems friendly, it still has the end goal of upping their reputation to make more money. Anyways. You're all right, Kringling. You're all right. It can be hard to follow sometimes. You guys are like little chat messages in a chat window. I'm on camera with a microphone. It can get a little... Communication isn't always like the grandest in these situations, right? You know, that's just the honest. There's always a little bit of a disconnect between chat and a live streamer because you guys have such like limited characters, and everything I just said in this one sentence is more than you can say in an individual comment on a live chat. And the chat moves, you know, when you talk about something, you look down, and the chat's already scrolled like 10 feet. I smoke weed every day. No, you're all right, dude. I'm chill about a lot of things. Don't always, you know, buy into people that are angry that they got banned because they insulted me during a stream. You know, don't insult people. That's okay, bud. It's time for us to get ready for bed anyways. All right. I got to, you want to come over and say hi to everyone? No? Okay. You don't have to come on camera. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got to get my kids ready for bed. You guys make a big mess up there? No? Only the food from earlier? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a lovely day. Nintendo Q says you guys should go watch Player Essence. He does a good job talking in the chat. Yeah, go watch Player Essence. I don't got a problem with him. He's a good dude. Even if I did have a problem with him, you can still go watch him. He's a good dude. I watch his streams. I'm a mod in his streams. He's a good guy. For the most part. Sometimes he's a little combative, but, you know, everyone, I think, has a little bit of combativeness in him. Hey, you guys have a good rest of your day. I gotta go put my kids to bed and all that jazz. It was a fun stream. Might get one more video up for you guys. We'll see. Depends on my time. Probably just going to be a voiceover gameplay if I do cover it. But we'll see. I do have something I really wanted to get done today, but the stream went a little longer. It happens. I was having a good time. Shout out to everyone who super chatted. Let's see here if I can find that here. All the super chats. Does it say it's under analytics? They used to have a thing where I could look at the individual super chats, but I don't think it does that anymore. Let me look over on Streamlabs quick here. Why is it not giving me any? Oh, there it is. That's the information. So we got Adam Butters for $5. We got Mariano Rivera for $5. We got Adam Butters for $2, and then Clayton Miller for $10. Thank you guys so much for coming in. The Juan Castillo. Hey, Nintendo Q. Before I sign out here, when you talk about me saying that he can be a bit combative sometimes when I'm banning everyone, you're the only one who got banned. And Player Essence bans like 5 people per stream. Do you actually watch his live streams? I'm just curious. Like, between his mods and Player Essence himself, dude, he bans a lot of people. It'd be very curious to see his ban list on his back end. Dude, he bans a lot of people. Anyone who, like, you can ask people who watch my channel. Like, there's people that sometimes just disagree with him, and he'll sometimes ban them over it because there's like a misunderstanding between what the person said in the chat. Like, the misunderstanding that Kringling, example, thought was happening here. Like, he thought there was a misunderstanding. There wasn't, but sometimes there's misunderstandings like that, and then he bans people. This isn't me criticizing Player Essence. He's free to do what he wants. I'm just saying he does come across a little bit combative sometimes. It's not the end of the world. We all are who we are. I could be combative sometimes. I'm not like oblivious to my own flaws, you know. Anyways, all right. Catch you guys later. Peace out. Nintendo. All I'm gonna say, Nintendo Q, you haven't watched this channel for very long. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I've literally watched him ban someone over a misunderstanding or an opinion that disagreed with him. I've seen it happen. I've talked to him about it behind the scenes. It's factually occurred. Because he makes some assumptions about people. But I'm not gonna go there. He went there once on Twitter, but I'm not gonna go there. So I'm pretty sure Player Essence has me banned. So, hey, if you like Player Essence so much, stop watching my content. Pretty sure that Player Essence has me blocked right now. So, true story. True story. Player Essence has me blocked. So, all right. Catch you guys later.